All right, welcome everybody back to Candlekeep Mysteries. We're going to go ahead and start our recap here shortly. One housekeeping note that we wanted to share with the audience is upon review of the previous recording, turns out that one of the attacks that hit Frederick at the very end of the battle, not the one that dropped him to 0, he's still at 0, but the one after that, it was declared as a hit, which should have actually been a miss. So he will start with no death save failures as opposed to the 2 we thought he should have. So maybe that'll give him a little chance to stay alive. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's go ahead and start our recap and then we will get started. So you guys will recall we started off last session with you guys being in the complex of the monks of the Immortal Lotus. This was sort of a temple setup that was very serene looking, had some outbuildings, some flower designs, and you guys had made your way a little bit through here. Brando was using his arcane eye to scope around, I should say. Eventually found in the southern building, there was this tortured dwarf who had been hung essentially from this pole, and it looked like he was undergoing some very uncomfortable and unfortunate circumstances. You guys eventually made your way into that building using the key that was recovered from Steel Crane on the west side of the temple complex. Entering inside, you guys kind of looked around, found this guy's equipment, a bow and a weapon on the nearby table, and were able to help him, get him down from the this pole that he was tied to. Spoke with him, found out his name was Karbeck, and he told you that he had actually come here and was trying to become a monk almost through force, or after some strong persuading, you might say. He was actually an adventurer himself with a group. They kind of got turned around. This beggar showed up and led his group here to this complex. Turned out that beggar was one of the monks of the Immortal Lotus and was trying to just get more people here. So, excuse me, it seems like overall they're trying to get more folks here to get in their way of training and sort of make them in their own image, you might say, more disciples, more truthful of the faith here. And this was working out decently well for the monks, but obviously not so well for Karbeck. So you guys assisted him, got him down, and then decided to move on to the east, taking the battle to the leader of the Immortal Lotus monks here, Bach Mai. So you guys approached this flower-shaped structure and began to assault the area. Climbing the steps, you encountered Bach Mai, who gave this sort of big guy speech before he jumped out to fight you all, and indicated that you guys were simply worms and he was going to show you the superiority of the Immortal Lotus style. This battle got underway pretty quick. You guys noticed several of the monks come out to fight you. After a round, some other monks who were coming back to the complex joined the battle, coming from the south. So there were several monks and Bach Mai himself. We had an early wall of force out of Brando that sort of blocked off Bach Mai's easy path out, and he had to spend some time breaking through the wall of the building of the Immortal Lotus just to get out there. And you guys were able to continue pressing the enemies here using a variety of tactics, spells, and abilities, and eventually whittling them down. Eventually we had Del delivering the death blow to Bach Mai as he took his head off with a slashing stroke. With that completed, you guys defeated up the remaining monks and then set to searching this building that Bach Mai was in. You did recover the stripped pages from the Book of Inner Alchemy, which was the primary goal that you guys had come here for in the first place, and also found some other interesting information, namely a letter that seemed to come from an oddly named individual who was instructing Bach Mai that he was looking for some slaves. It seemed, you guys were sort of able to piece this together a bit, that perhaps there had been some type of an agreement between Bach Mai and this other individual. And this was sort of like a, hey, if you give us the slaves, we're going to compensate you kind of agreement. Not all the details are laid out in this letter, but this individual wrote the letter, Kalthuladesh. It seems as though he has some type of leverage, perhaps, over Bach Mai, as he indicates that he's working for the Black Network. You guys were able to determine that the Black Network is known also by the other name of the Zentarium. And Brando was able to fill you guys a little bit on that based on his historical knowledge. So having read this and seeing that there were some slaves and noticing that the timing lined up, you guys decided to take a quick rest here at the temple complex and then make your way over towards where this letter you presumed it meant over towards the cove, which would be a little over a day's journey to your southwest out of the forest, taking a different path than you had taken on your way in. So you guys rested up here for a short bit of time, cooked some food in the kitchens, grabbing some vegetables from the garden outside, spoke a bit more with Karbeck, who was very badly hurt. You guys were able to get him a little bit on his feet with some assistance and some time. He was able to recover just a little bit. And then Frederick was actually able to cast a teleportation circle, sending Karbeck back to Baldur's Gate. So that he was very happy to have this completed, as he was looking through a long, treacherous, and very haggard journey for himself based on how damaged he was to actually make his way all the way back to Baldur's Gate. So he was very happy for that. With this task completed, you guys then set off out of the temple complex area and started heading southwest through the forest. You started to notice a change in the environment after traveling for a bit of time. The sort of forest floor here with these tall trees and good cover and peaceful atmosphere, you might think, at least if you enjoy the forest, started getting a bit more wet, a bit more boggy in nature, and turns out you guys are entering a bog for true. You guys started penetrating through the bog, trying to stay on the higher ground, the more stable ground, and avoiding the larger puddles of water. And eventually, after traveling this way for some distance, you heard this very strange sound. This strange sound called out and spoke in Giant and seemed to indicate that it had detected your blood, and it was very interested in that fact. So you guys found yourself in a quick combat, but not from the west. Actually, first from the east came this rider, a headless rider who seemed to be holding his own head in his hand, charged forth and seemed to go, based on where he started and based on where you guys chose your own starting spots, he seemed to head straight for Brandel and took the battle to the wizard. You guys were dealing with some dangerous footing here, as the boggy water is, of course, slowing things down. However, this rider seems to move over it effortlessly, obviously some type of magical nature here at play. And then shortly later in the battle, it was joined by this evil-looking feminine figure that had these long reddish worms or snakes coming off of her head and seemed to stretch forth, a spellcaster of some type, as she seemed to engage you guys with a variety of spells. So far, casting a cloud kill spell, I'm sure some of you guys recognize, and using Misty Step to move around the battlefield a bit quicker. So we find ourselves starting at the top of round 4, and that is where we will pick up. So is there any other input anybody would like to offer here that I missed? Anything to add to the recap?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention some names that I felt like were important. We found a letter that was to or from Cal. I'm a butcher the name, Calthuladesh, and then it mentioned the Black Network and the Zentarium. Or not, it didn't mention the Zentarium. I think we did a check to find out where it was coming from, which was, we knew the Black Network was based from the Zentarium, which I believe, if my memory serves me, is that Neverwinter or Waterdeep, one of those.
Well, the Zentarium.
Luskin.
Yeah, the Zentarium have roots in many different areas in the Sword Coast. They're sort of very infamous, you might think. Their stretch doesn't know really any limits, and perhaps that's part of a shadowy organization, is never knowing where they can strike next. But yes, good additional information to add to the recap there. Anybody else have anything to offer? All right, hearing nothing else, then we'll go ahead and award inspiration to both Brandel and to Lexi for another entry into Brandel's journal. Thanks for that entry, guys, as we pick up with today's session. All right, let's get you guys over towards the map. Okay, so this is where we find ourselves. We're at the top of the round. Oh, actually, one other quick housekeeping note. Brad will be, so this is Delzaris, will be taking on the role of Gertrude, at least for this early part, until we have an opportunity for Gertrude to slide out and back into the Mechanist box. So, Brad, you will notice that the character sheet for Gertrude is out there in the handouts. Let me know if you have any trouble finding her, but she should be under the folder titled...
Yep.
You got it. Perfect.
Yeah, got it up. All set. Thanks.
Good deal. Glad to hear that. Okay, so we'll pick up at the top of the round. So as a reminder, this enemy, this rider that is headless and holding his own head, he is currently up in the air 30 feet, a victim of Brandel's telekinesis spell. So without much opportunities or much choices of what to do here, you're going to notice that he is going to cast a spell.
Okay, I'm going to try to counterspell that if I can.
You can certainly try. What level would you like to use in your counterspell?
Level 3, and I'll send it.
Okay, I'll need you to make a caster level check.
Is that intelligence or arcana?
This is intelligence.
Inspiration.
Okay, you burn inspiration to re-roll that. All right, as you attempt to counterspell this spell, you notice he motions with his hand, that the one that is not holding this severed head, and you can see some dark necrotic energy beginning to coalesce. You quickly counterspell that, however, and it has no effect. All right, so that will be his turn as we move to Gertrude's turn.
Okay. So I take it she has her halberd out?
Yeah, she's currently wielding the halberd, and being that it's a two-handed weapon, she can obviously, choose between that if she wants to take a hand off to do something else.
Okay, and the radiant bolt that she has on her sheet, is that a magical thing, or is that like a crossbow?
That is a magical thing. Think of this sort of as like an NPC version of Guiding Bolt, but not exactly the same.
Okay, so like if she were to take a hand off of that, she could use that.
She sure could. Yep, same rules apply as a ranged spell attack.
Okay. So she is going to...
Oh, actually, one other very important point, just in case this affects your decision here, Brad. Gertrude actually was struck by these this hair from the woman that is to the northwest of her. So this creature here, this hair has reached out that 10-foot reach, and it has struck into Gertrude. And the effects of that so far is that Gertrude is considered to be grappled.
Okay.
So is that why she's concentrating at him? Sorry to interrupt.
No, she's actually concentrating on the cloud kill. If you remember, that's represented by the red circle.
All right, thank you.
Okay. She's going to try to radiant. Actually, she's going to take a halberd attack against the snake-haired creature.
All right, sounds good. So halberd in hand with two hands, you strike out towards her. Go ahead and make that attack. Yes, that will certainly connect. And a little bit different on these NPC sheets. To post damage, just click on the word attack there in the chat box, and that should roll it for you. All right, so this slashes out, connecting and wounding her. She will maintain concentration on that cloud kill. All right, Gertrude follows up with a second attack, slashing out. This one connects as well. All right, this time she fails her concentration check, and you will notice that cloud kill spell dissipates. All right, next up is Leopold, who's currently flying. How high up again, Leopold?
30 feet.
30 feet in the air. Okay, Leopold.
Leo will fly over here, 30 feet. Remind me if I'm about to cast a spell that's a 30-foot radius around me, which do I need to be right on top of Frederick to hit him with that? No.
Nope. So radius is extend in all directions, including 3D. So yeah, as long as you're within 30 feet of him on the map and you're not higher than 30 feet up, you could certainly affect him.
Awesome. So I'm going to drop heroism, and I'm going to cast that instead, and then use my bonus action to heal Frederick.
All right, so begin concentrating on this new spell as you point out towards Frederick, and go ahead and roll some healing for Frederick. Nice. Okay, so Frederick is restored 12 HP. All right, so Frederick will regain consciousness with 1 level of exhaustion.
I think that's all that I can do, because I don't have a bonus action to command silver.
Sounds right to me.
Yep, that's it. That's my turn.
All right, next up is Lexi.
Alright, Lexi's gonna walk over here
That is correct, yes.
Alright, so she'll roll right there and try and smack the nasty looking red worm hair lady with her giant fate crescent.
All right, and let's see. I see that you have Bless on. Who was the one that cast Bless?
Was it Randall?
I think it was, but I believe he dropped it, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately, Bless is not in effect right now, so that attack will miss, Lexi.
Alright, I'll try it again.
Oof, this time it's a fumble. Go ahead and roll that fumble, Lexi. Oh, actually, you know what? See, and I just found myself calling myself my own rule. Remember, this is your second attack, so not subject to fumbles. All right, I remembered one time, guys. So no rolling on the fumble. That's just a miss.
Yay! Alright. Then I will stop the bad rolling with this turn.
All right, move to Frederick's turn, who's currently on the ground prone, however, is conscious once again.
I like kind of lean over my shoulder and look around and like, whew, that was nasty. And I'm gonna like, as I'm like going to push myself up, I notice the little tree sap that's dangling from the vial on my little belt pouch. I'm gonna rip it off and be like, well, let's see what it does, everybody. And I'm gonna down the tree sap that we got given to us.
All right, so as an action, you drink this tree sap. Go ahead and roll me 8d4.
That's pretty damn good.
All right, you are restored 31 HP, Frederick, as this healing elixir flows through you.
Whoa. Okay, tree sap is good, everybody. All right. Let me move this way and then kind of tuck around behind here and cower for now.
All right, so unfortunately, Frederick, as you step away, she does have that 10-foot reach with that hair, so she's going to take an opportunity attack against you. It is, however, going to miss. All right, Radbon's turn.
Okay, I am going to. I'm running a little low on spells, so I'd like to try and save some of them. I'm going to hit the guy in front of me with Sacred Flame.
All right, so as he's flying in the air there, you call down a Sacred Flame.
Disadvantage on dex checks. Dex saves.
Due to restrain, yes, that's true.
Yep.
All right, here comes the Dexterity saving throw. All right, so that's with disadvantage. Yes, he will indeed fail that as the radiant energy falls upon him and wounds him.
Okay, that's me.
All right, so as the hair is currently connected to Gertrude and it looks not good at all, however, you're going to notice she waves her hand as she moves through the mist to appear next to Brandel. Brandel, she is going to then attack you with a full set of strikes. So first comes a claw attack.
And I'm out of reactions.
You are indeed. Your AC, however, is still 19, so this will miss, and she swings the other claw. This one connects. That will be for 23 points of damage. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Ignore that damage. That was the wrong attack. Let me roll the other damage. This might be more, but actually, no, I'll just keep that because that was my error, and that could end up being worse. So we'll just say 23. All right, so that is the claw attack. That's the... so you maintain concentration on your telekinesis. So she's going to follow this up then with a blood-drinking hair attack. This is also going to connect. So just for fairness here, I'm going to roll the other damage now, so it'll work out the same way. It's just reversed. All right, that one is going to deal 14 points of piercing damage to you, Brandel. You are considered a medium creature, so now you are grappled. And yes, that is her turn. So you are currently grappled. She has struck out, used all of her attacks, used her bonus action. So yeah, that'll do it as we move to Brandel's turn.
Real quick, does that ungrapple Gertrude?
It does indeed, yes, as she's no longer within range.
So I'm grappled. I can't take. What's the? I can't take
Grappled
action?
is just you can't move. Anything else you'd like to do, you're up for.
Can I move through magic?
You can, yes.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to. You see, Brendel looks. He's near death, really taking all those hits, and he says, "Istime stepse," and he's gonna try to Misty Step out of there. So he's gonna bonus action Misty Step.
Come closer to me.
There's the Misty Step. And then he's going to maintain. So here's my question about he's gripped until the end of my turn. He doesn't. I can just not really try to raise him higher. He'll just stay restrained, right? Or until his next turn.
No. So if you don't apply this again using your action, then that effect wears off at the end of this turn now.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to apply it and send him 30 more feet in the air. So let's get another check.
All right, so this is the creature version of telekinesis. So you're making an ability check with your spellcasting ability. So you're making an intelligence check, and he's making a strength check. He is going to beat you in this contest. So no, you fail to move him any farther as you start to notice your telekinesis wearing off.
Okay, then I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Bonus action, reactions, movement. Now, is he going to drop, or at least he would? We'll see what happens, but I've completely lost his grip, right?
Correct. Yes, at the end of your turn, this wears off.
Oh, let's see if he falls.
Now, of course,
just
you're
fly
still
away.
concentrating on the spell, so if on a subsequent turn you're still maintaining concentration, you could have tried to apply that effect again.
Excellent.
All right, so yes, he will indeed descend into this water. He's going to suffer some damage, but not too much, as it's kind of a soft landing here. All right, so he will get wounded by this. All right, and he is not too happy with that. So he is actually going to disengage in order to move, sliding over to here as he rides all the way around. And actually, that'll be 5 feet less. He's going to ride all the way around here, getting next to the two bunched up softy spellcasters. All right, so that will be his action, his move, and he will then. He is going to bonus action Bane Brandel once again for Constitution. Okay, we move next to Gertrude. All right, so Brad, quick FYI, since I know you weren't here when we discussed this battle map, anywhere you see that looks like land, consider that regular. Any of this more like dark bluish, if you cross through that, consider that difficult terrain.
All right. Okay. So is it the square above me right here? Is that okay, or is that...
Yep, that's good. Yeah, so think about it like if it's at least 50% or more of that darker blue, consider that difficult terrain.
Yeah. So we'll do that for half my movement and then strike the this hag-looking thing.
All right, so Gertrude steps up, swinging out towards this hag-looking thing. Yeah, that first attack will indeed connect. All right, as the halberd slashes into her and wounds her. A second attack will just barely miss as she is able to dodge. Okay, next up is Leopold.
Bonus action healing Brandel for with the Aura of Vitality for 9. And then main action, we're going to try and shoot this SOB.
Oh, we're going to have to be more specific. Are we talking about shooting Brandel or someone else?
I'm going to take those hit points away that I just gave Brandel. I'm going to try a sharpshooter. I feel like he was kind of hard to hit the last go-around, but I want to do some damage.
So this is at the horse rider?
Yes.
All right, so yes, the first bolt will indeed connect as it pierces through his defenses and wounds him severely.
Boy. Do I go for it, or do I just do a regular attack? I'm going to do a regular attack. Here goes.
This attack will also connect, wounding him very badly. He is near death.
I should have done the sharpshooter. Okay, so I did bonus action. I think the way I interpret it, Silver, I can't have her attack as an action without my bonus action, but she can move on her turn. Is that accurate?
You want to go ahead and post the text for one? I think usually in this case, like with minions or pets or whatnot, it usually says something like, if you don't take an action, they kind of just don't do anything unless you're incapacitated, in which case they can act on their own.
Here it comes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. It says it can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action unless you take a bonus action. So, right, so if you're not using the bonus action, she's dodging as an action, but can still move.
Okay, I just wanted to move her right up here.
That'll work.
That's it.
Okay, next up is Lexi.
All right. Lexi will move. Right there. And let's try the fake crescent again.
All right, Fate Crescent in hand, you slash downwards. This one connects, wounding her.
Yes.
Second one connects solidly, wounding her again.
Take that, crazy lady.
All right, Frederick, a bit restored thanks to that tree sap, but have this enemy right next to you. What do you do?
Well, it's quite simple. I'm going to difficult terrain 10, 5, still in range, and then you see Frederick kind of snap his fingers real quick, and he's going to Misty Step to here. And once he lands, you see him kind of charge up that energy in his hands, and he's going to do 3 really powerful Ki Blast at the horse creature.
All right.
Eldritch Blast.
That's like
Alright,
Ki
here comes
Blast.
Yeah, think of it like the way he shoots it is like D&D style. I mean, not D&D, DBZ, sorry.
Dragon Ball Z. Okay, got it. I was thinking maybe Frederick multi-classed into a monk also.
All right, it only takes one as this first ray fires out, strikes into this headless rider, and you notice he starts to sag as his body begins to discorporate, and eventually there's nothing left there at all that represents that any creature was ever there at any time.
And then after my first one flies out, I see that he's starting to fade away, so I turn my attention to the hag, and I know it's a bit of a shot, but I'm going to fire my other 2 blasts at her.
All right. Yeah, she'll have a little bit of cover thanks to some allies in the way, or at least one ally in the way. But yeah, go ahead and take your attack. This first one is going to miss, as does the second one. No strikes.
It's okay, it's not the greatest spot, so knowing that, Frederick's going to move a little bit forward, give himself some space to catch his breath. Hopefully. Knock on wood, hopefully.
Okay, Ranbon's turn.
Okay, he's moving 10 feet here, and then I think this is 10 and another 10.
Sounds right to me.
Cool. And I'm going to just cast Sacred Flame from here, hopefully give a flank to an ally.
All right, you conjure down a sacred flame towards her. I'm pretty sure that's going to hit, but let me double check. Ooh, close, but yes, it does indeed strike as the radiant energy wounds her.
That's me.
All right, so from where she's at here, you're going to see her vanish through that Misty Step power as she gets to here, and will then move to here to strike out at Brandel. Brandel, you're going to notice that she swings out with her claws. Are you using a higher level slot for that?
Yep, I'm gonna have to level 2 on that one.
All right, you burn a level 2 spell to shield, and these claws sink into that arcane barrier, but not able to penetrate. She follows that up with a second claw strike. Also not able to penetrate. And then lastly, you see that blood-drinking hair reaches forth, but does not hit. In fact, actually third attack, so no fumble, but that is going to be a
No
miss.
fumble.
All right, Brandel, she's right up in your face. Your shield spell ends. Your turn.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Boy, do I have to do everything? No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'm concentrating on it, so I might as well keep it going. I'm going to attempt to restrain her with my telekinetic grip since I have it going as an action.
All right, and this is you're trying to lift her up in the air?
I don't know yet. If I can grab her first, and then I could move her directly. What I'm thinking of, I'll get my measure. I can move her 30 feet, just kind of this way,
Yeah.
so that my friends can hack at her.
Sure, yeah, that certainly works. Okay, so you're doing the creature version of telekinesis. I guess that's the confirmation I was looking for here. So yeah, strength, and here comes her strength check opposed to you. She is not affected by this, Brandel.
Of course not. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to. You see me wave my hand. Estimes tepse, because it's a bonus action. I'm on a Misty Step.
As I see him
To
about
there.
to do it, I just shout, "Not near me!"
No, I'm gonna go by these guys with the swords and armor. I'll go 5. Then okay, that's my action, bonus action, reaction. So and then now movement 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Whew, man, she's on me.
All right, Gertrude.
Okay. Gertrude's gonna shoot a radiant bolt at this hag.
All right, nice. So reaches her hand forth, that radiant energy charging in her hand as it blasts off. Go ahead and post it. That will certainly connect. All right, and this hag is blasted for some radiant damage as she is struck on the side. All right, Leopold still 30 feet in the air, right? Your turn.
Yep. Was that a guiding bolt or a weird NPC?
Weird
Radiant
NPC radiant bolt.
Gotcha. I'm gonna scoot over here and I'll shout down to Brandel. Okay, run away from her, but not from me. And then I'll vitality him for 6 healing. And then I'm gonna turn around with my crossbow aimed at the hag lady. Sharpshooter.
This will miss.
Sharpshooter again, I don't care.
This one manages to connect as it penetrates through that little bit of brush, strikes her in the chest. She is looking near death.
Finish the job. And then my turn ends. Oh wait, and Silver is going to move right next to Randall. Done.
Alright. Lexi's ready. She's gonna run over there. Right here. Murder, murder, murder.
All right, steps forward, striding, striking out with the Fate Crescent, and in this first slash, you notice she gasps loudly as this blow just strikes her right in the chest, causing a huge gasp of air and a huge gash in her chest as your blood just begins to leak out. She reaches forth towards you, Lexi, very futilely as this clawed hand just grips on your boot with not enough energy to do any damage, and she is slain. All right, guys, you have successfully defeated these two opponents, finding yourself in this bog, and yeah, we're out of combat.
Nice, Lexi.
Oh my goodness.
Frederick, Brandon, come here. I'm going to start pumping in the rest of my Aura of Vitality into Brandel and Frederick. I'll do the dices on that. Hold on.
All right, and as you begin dishing out those healings, you're going to notice Gertrude here looks down towards the Mechanist box, seemingly ready to head back in, as she will transport herself back in the Mechanist box, and out will pop Delzaris.
Leo, would you like some bolstering
God,
magic?
it's so tiny.
I would love some.
All right.
So there was seven rounds left of it. So the I guess the first 2, 4, 6. I guess the first 8 can go to Brandel, and then the rest of them are going to go to Frederick.
Yeah, so let's, to help people not have to do any complicated math, just tell them how many points they got.
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on.
So I guess I should say just make yourself do the complicated math, I guess, but
I'm fine with that.
Mine is 22, Leo, if that helps you. I've already done my math.
Cool.
So then that would be 31 for Brandel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
all right, so with
That's,
that
awesome
aura
spell.
of vitality washing over each of you, restoring a bit of health there, feeling a bit better.
And I'll descend down and I'll say, did you say you could charge me up, Lexi?
Yep, here you go.
Thank you.
Is the body still there?
Of the hag, yes. Of the rider, no.
My telekinesis is still going, so uncontested, just for a thematic effect, I'm going to just pick it up and place it here on this dry land.
Yes, you're able to do so.
And Lexi, do you have any of the magic healing as well? Don't you have a way to help us spellcasters?
Yes, I just gave Leo some. Do you need some too?
If you have extra.
And Lexi will squeeze Brandel's bicep as well.
Did you roll the dice?
Anybody else?
Or should we?
It's a 1d3, right?
1d3. Adam, did they roll or do I roll?
Let's see. So using the second effect, creature regains one exponent level of which it goes never rolled or lower. I'd say it's you that rolls, Lexi.
Nice.
I'll take that one.
Yes, gonna take it. I could use any level, really. Yeah, I'll take it.
Leo, Lexi, could you squeeze my arm also?
Lexi's very popular now with us.
You got it.
She always has been, but especially right now.
Look at that. One of each.
And then after Frederick gets his arm squeezed by Lexi, he's gonna walk over to Ranvon, and his eyes are like super wide open after taking that scream from Lexi, and he like stares right at Ranvon and says, "I don't want to make her feel bad, but I don't feel right. Could you take a look at me?"
What do you have?
Well, when Lexi did that rage scream, she kind of, well, rung my bell, and I felt weird, like I can't go to sleep or rest, or I feel like I drank a lot of coffee. Does that make sense? Look at my eyes.
that's not. It doesn't look good. I will be honest with you. Okay. Adam, could I do like a medicine check to see if I can figure out what will fix this?
Yeah, I would say a medicine action here is appropriate. Okay, so yeah, you examine Frederick. It's not so much a physical wound here. You can think of this almost as like mental trauma, perhaps. Maybe there's a little bit of a dizziness in his eyes, or he's having perhaps a hard time focusing here, a little stretched out. You get the impression that this is not something that just regular rest is going to aid here. Probably something along the lines of a restoration spell is what is going to be needed.
Would I know what level of restoration that I need to try to get rid of this?
Let's see. On this one, that based on the effect, let me just double check the writing. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to require a greater restoration.
Okay, well, the good news is I can fix it. The bad news is I can't do it today. And I know that, I mean, it will feel like today for you because you probably just won't sleep it out. But for me, it'll be tomorrow.
What'd you say you needed to do to fix it? Did you say anything about what we needed to do to fix it?
Well, the man's addled. It's going to take some high level magic to fix him up here.
What Leo's hoping for is for you to tell him what I've got charm of restoration from our fight. So, but I think right now you're just gonna haven't clued Leo in on what needs to happen quite yet. So,
well, if I could cast greater restoration on him tomorrow, I could get rid of it.
Oh, Leo says, and I got it. Hold on. I gotta find the text though. I think use 4 charges of this, and that will be a greater restoration. I'm trying to find where the hell I put it.
I'll double check it for you as well. I think it was actually sent to you guys in Discord, if that helps you, but I'll pull up reference material as well.
That might have been it.
It's just very important you don't let Lexi know, because I don't want her to feel bad, because she really messed that guy up over there.
What?
Nothing.
Well, I think we've all learned when Lexi's going to turn into Hulk mania, we need to give her some space. Maybe remind her as well. If you're going to do that, over there, please.
It's no big deal. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it, but it could have been worse. So, honestly, no big deal.
You're okay, Frederick, right? They healed you up okay?
Yeah. We'll be okay, Lexi.
He's great, and Leo grabs Frederick by the arm, and he'll use 4 charges of his charm of restoration, and you have greater restoration cast on you.
All right, and with that effect washing over you, Frederick, you feel that terrible effect that was addling your mind seems to wisp away, and you feel yourself once again. Greater restoration, I think, might even pull off the exhaustion you had. Let me double check that one.
Ooh.
Wait,
It does.
Leo.
It reduces the target's level by 1, so even that's gone, Frederick. Yeah, you're feeling right as rain.
Yes, Lexi?
You had to use your Avernus charm to heal Frederick?
Things are meant to be used.
It was an experiment, Lexi. Just an experiment. It worked. And also, speaking of experiments, if you all drink your tree sap, it will heal you. It's great to know. Quite effectively, also, I might add.
Well, since you had to use that one, you can have mine from Avernus. Here you go.
So
No.
keeping in mind, guys, here, the charm is not like a physical thing. It's not like an object you can hand over. This is like a blessing, you might think of it as, that's into it to you. So Lexi, you could certainly use it on Leopold if he should need it, but unfortunately it's not something you can hand over.
It's okay.
Well, never mind.
Don't worry. Things are good. I'm happy to use things. It's all good. Thanks for that spell slot.
And
Whatever
also,
that
Anytime.
is.
Leo did kind of owe me one because if you remember, he did have a building fall on him that one time. So I look at Leo and I say, I think we're clear, yeah?
Houses. Oh, I hate them. Yes, this is paying it forward.
That was...
Lexi, you didn't have any more gas in the tank. I guess that's an expression they would absolutely not have. Wait, you wouldn't have any more.
Any souls in the grinder?
You wouldn't have any more souls in the grinder, would you, for your old pal around, Vaughn?
As a matter of fact, I have one soul in the grinder left.
That was so quick. That was really good. If I knew you didn't have inspiration already, I'd ask for Adam to give it to you.
I burned it. First roll.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Souls in the grinder is so quick that I wish you could get it for that.
I'm going to need something else to give it to Brian. I can't give it that easy.
That's a good roll.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares. This hag chasing me everywhere. Where did she come from? I'm looking at it, Adam. Does she, she's there, and she have any things like a purse or like a man purse or something? What is this thing?
Now that you have an opportunity and you're not in risk of imminent death, go ahead and throw an Arcana check as you examine the corpse of this creature. Yeah, Brenda, you think you've heard perhaps some strange stories or maybe read some knowledge about this in an old book. These are very rare creatures known as blood hags. They have some very terrifying effects. They can sense blood at living creatures quite a distance out and even pinpoint their locations when they're nearby them. That blood-drinking hair actually deals damage and restores their own health, so it works very effectively. And if they have that attached on somebody, they can use a horrific ability known as face peel that actually cuts the face off of one of their victims, which they can then use to imitate that person, gaining some of their base knowledge, and they can sort of imitate that person as needed. So yes, destroying such an evil fey creature such as this, you feel probably pretty happy about yourselves. As far as a physical inspection, looking for pouches or anything along those lines, she's wearing this little kind of like half skirt type blouse type material, and you can see she has a bit of like a small pouch on her side, but in popping it open it seems to contain just like some small bones, and it doesn't look to be of anything of interest.
Ugh, disgusting creature. Face peel. Ugh. Thank you guys for your help. I was near death there. Thank you for a good fight. Everyone did well. Is there a way out of here?
Just real quick before we actually head out, Ranvan, Leo elbows Ranvan. Why don't you use those fancy goggles and just look around here and see if the old hag had a hut or something in the area.
Yeah, I suppose I could.
I keep forgetting he's wearing those goggles. I'm sure they just look ridiculous with the helmet on. Didn't he put them over the helmet?
I think they're under the helmet.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So can I make like a check to see if I can find anything on him?
And just to clarify, does this mean you're wanting to move around the bog area and kind of eye around cover and blockings of sighting, or you're staying exactly where you're at and just looking around?
I'd probably take a couple minutes to do it. So like around where I am here. So like around here.
I think technically we were heading in this direction anyway, so I mean we'll probably move a little bit, but yeah.
All right, as you spend a little bit of time looking around here, Ranvan, with these very snazzy and fashionable-looking goggles on your eyes, you notice there is an interesting-looking tree stump over this way. You recall when you guys first encountered this hag, she seemed to come from down here. So given its location, you presume maybe this is where she was before you guys engaged her in battle.
Okay, if I'm spotting it, I'm gonna put myself here, and I'll call out. I think I might have found her. Do they live in stumps?
Oh, well done, Ranvon.
Her tree stump?
I mean, I don't see many other. It's pretty clear cut compared to the rest of them.
As I'm
Uh,
walking up with Brando, I'm gonna be like,
Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna say, man, that was good about the blood hag. What about the guy on the horse?
We're jogging.
Just chasing each other around the swamp.
Yeah, I don't know. That horse, I'd have to think about that. I've never heard of such a creature. Have I read about anything like that, Adam?
Give me another Arcana check, I suppose. You may have heard some stories based on the appearance of the creature. You don't recall exactly a name, but you remember a strange story about a fey creature that has a very terrifying glare and has the ability to instantly kill individuals that it has doomed. And as you recall this information, you remember feeling that strange doom feeling around yourself, like you for surely were going to die, and you feel like that must have been that effect.
Well, I'm frightened to even remember it, but that creature having that presence could have insta-killed us. I think our enemies have grown in power as well. We must be on our guard.
Speaking of which, it looks like Ranvon found something over here with the stump.
Yep.
Brendel, come over here. Give me a hand with this.
Yes, I'll help you.
Let's look through the stump.
All right, I'll help Leo.
All right, Leo, go ahead and give me an investigation check at advantage. It's very easy, actually. As you begin searching this, you realize there is this kind of concave part of this stump that's been dug out a bit. You kind of start putting your hands over here. There's a bit of almost like a leaf-type barrier. It's more like a collection of moss and other detritus. And you kind of pull this free, and you see that there is a few different objects in here.
Some goodies.
Del, do you have that? Can you detect magic still? If you did that back at the Immortal Lotus Temple.
I could do it one more time. I don't have many spells that I can cast throughout the day, and I used many at the Immortal Lotus. But I can if you wish me to.
If you're spent, we never know what the rest of the day may bring.
Silver was obviously whining just now.
Where are you guys?
And don't forget, guys, we can always bring it with us and check later. You know, we
Yes.
wouldn't want somebody to come up on us.
Brandon will look around and say, I don't like this place. Let's see what we found, Leo. What did you find?
Well, here's this. He'll start modeling the items like Vanna White, the fantasy Faerun equivalent of Vanna White. Some diamond dust. Ranvon, this is probably for you, or maybe Frederick. One of you can use some of this.
I don't do stuff like that anymore. Maybe when I was younger, but no.
Hearing that, Frederick's like, yeah, I'll take it then. Sure.
Lexi may want to sniff.
Leo just tosses the vial back towards Frederick. And then I'll pull out the potion. What does that look like? Just
yeah, it looks like a grayish liquid. It kind of looks gross, in fact. Like you look at it, you get the impression of almost like dirty city water. Not swamp water, but actual like sewage water.
I hesitate to imagine what this might be. We'll take a look at it later. Here's a spell scroll of something. Take a look at it, Brandel. You might be the best to figure out what it is. And there's this big-ass gold bar. Ha!
Yeah, so anybody that looks at this bar can go ahead and make a history check to see if they recognize it. Leopold, you recognize this almost instantly as what's known as a trade bar. Trade bars are something that are used to exchange larger sums of gold. The most typical ones tend to be about 2 pounds and made of silver. So what really sets this one apart is that it's 10 pounds, very, very large, and it's made of solid gold, or at least it appears to be. Based on that, based on you knowing rough trade currencies of trade bars, you estimate that this is probably worth about 500 gold pieces.
Not bad. It's a pretty
Or
decent haul.
you could melt it down and make like a golden Fate Crescent, Volume 3.
Now, Frederick, gold is soft, so you don't want it as a weapon unless it's like magic gold. Then I think that would be okay. But just regular gold, no, that wouldn't be a good idea. They'd just like dent and chip all the time, and also be really heavy and just be like Lexi's arms would get tired. Well, no, of course not. Because
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't know if that happens. Lexi, do your arms get tired?
No, usually they go numb before they get tired.
Exactly. But anyway, 500 goldish. We'll have to see.
And
Put this in the bag of holding.
Okay. Sorry if I sound curt, but I'm very uncomfortable here. What
Let's
do we
get the hell
think
out.
we should do? Continue our same direction? How much further would you have?
Well, Adam, I was trying to lead us safely through the bog. So if we go back and grab the horse and the wagon, do I feel like I can find us a safe route out of this little forest so we can get on trail to the cove?
Yeah, you feel like you're actually still on trail. Just this A to B path that you guys have chosen to take to expedite the process took you through this bog. But yeah, you don't feel lost or anything. You feel like you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I'll point out the general trail and direction to Brandal. Just we weren't really expecting to, have people lying in wait to attack us. I assume that's probably where that trade bar came from. Their last prey.
Well, blood hags are quite rare. Indeed, if there were 2 in here, I'd be shocked.
I would like to get the hell out of this swamp, though. I just had this freaking robe tailored.
Okay, who put the potion and the scroll in their pack?
I have the scroll.
I guess Leo, for the moment, has the potion, although when we get a moment to stop, I'll look at it a lot closer and try and figure it out.
Adam, I'm going to use Harness Divine Power to turn one of my channel divinities into a level 2 slot.
All right, good deal.
And I'll go start clicking over to the horse and see if I can calm it down and get everybody settled back over with the wagon, Adam.
All right, so you gather up the cart and horse and set off on your original destination. It doesn't take you guys too long to find yourself back out into the more forested area here, maybe after another hour or so of traveling. You continue heading in the southwesterly direction, knowing that you're heading towards this cove. And you guys start making your way across more of like the plains area, exiting out of the forest entirely, and continue heading to the southwest. This traveling takes you a significant period of time, however, altogether several hours, in fact, and you can see as you're making good progress, you're starting to get to the point where the sun is setting in the sky. You can see it starting to go down. You can hear the sound of the night animals begins to take its place, and everything around you is starting to look dark.
If I remember, we had this night, and they were going to meet up the next night. Is that correct?
Don't quite remember. I don't think we slept once we left.
That is correct. You guys remember that the note said by end of 4th day, you guys were on 3rd day, and knowing travel time, you wanted to try to head there. So yes, tomorrow is actually 4th day.
Oh, man, I could use a rest. My knees are killing me.
You were on the cart, though.
Well, getting up on the cart is hard enough work for this old man.
Should we scout the cove and at least know what we're dealing with? Because, I mean, if it's on the 4th night, then we have all day tomorrow, or should we just camp and wait, do the scouting tomorrow?
I think we should probably wait, A, because we might run into something else terrible, and B, if we lose the light, we won't be able to scout too much anyway.
I'm with Leo.
We could try taking a short rest and then scouting it out and then sleep till the rest of the night. Do we know how many hours we have until nightfall of the 4th day? It's like a full day needs to pass until it's the next day, right?
Yes, yep. So again, it's getting close to nighttime now, so you can think it being right about maybe 7 p.m. in the evening. The note simply said make sure that the slaves are delivered by end of 4th day. So essentially what he was saying is, you're getting the expectation that this Cthulhu is probably going to be there on 4th day through perhaps to the end of the night. So yes, you're thinking as long as you get there tomorrow that you will be able to encounter this Cthulhu, assuming the note is accurate.
Okay, Ramblon will say, they just needed to get here by this day, right? They left the forest before we did, so they probably got here before we did. They might already be here. I say we take a short rest just to recoup a little bit, and then we head off before that man gets here.
I have enough juice left that I could turn into maybe a bat and fly down and see if I could get a look.
And when you say that, Brando will, on his shoulder, will pop a black raven that I'm going to pull from the interdimensional space at him as an action.
Okay.
I have my friend here too, but he can't fly very far, but I can see through his eyes if I need to.
How far is very far?
I would have to get my PHP and look up Raven. Oh wait, better yet, I have Google.
I mean, they could fly, infinite, but you can only telepathically talk to them for 100 feet.
Yeah, so thank you.
I think that's how it works.
I mean, we could rest this evening and try to overcome them tomorrow, because if there's a ritual or anything that's supposed to take place in the evening or whatever is supposed to go down, they're expecting it at night. So if we can get ahead of that, then I'd say we would come out on top, and they definitely wouldn't expect it.
I'm just trying to think if I've got anything that might... Since we are kind of paused here... Oh shit, I don't have Identify. I'll just pass that potion over to Brandel. Take a look at this when you're ready.
All right. While you guys are discussing, I can start to work on this. I'll grab my book out, and you'll see him start to ritually cast Identify with the items in front of me.
All right, so you're going to spend some time ritually casting the spell during this period of time. So you're trying to identify 2 items, is that right?
Yeah, I have the scroll and the potion before me.
All right, so 22 minutes here. During that time, is there anything anybody else would like to do? Keeping in mind that right now you guys are sort of out in the open on the plains, having exited the forest, and it's getting dark at this point in time.
Or would you rather me cast the hut? What are we planning to do? Well, I'm in ritual, never mind.
I could start scouting a place for us to rest.
I think that makes the most sense. We'll have a lot of time tomorrow to get in there and find them. And if we don't, what was I going to say? If they got here this early anyway, or early in the morning tomorrow, then it would have been a moot point because we won't be able to travel there to surprise them anyway. If that makes sense.
Yes, I think we should find a safer spot to rest in the dome and be refreshed as we're entering this encampment. We don't know what to be looking for, but they probably will be well armed.
All right, Let's rest then.
While Brandel is taking out his book and doing his thing, Dell's also going to do Find Steed. So it's a 10-minute cast.
Okay.
So he's just going to summon his warhorse again.
All right, so you begin casting that as Brandel is ritually casting the Identify spell a couple of times. Lexi, I heard you say you're going to scout around. Is that right?
Yes, please.
I'll walk around with Lexi and assist her doing that.
All right, so Lexi and Frederick, you guys start making this big circle as you start scouting around this current area. You can hear the sounds of chanting coming out from this center area where both Brandel and Dell are currently invoking verbal component spells. So as you guys continue searching around and kind of doing this larger and larger circle, I'd like both of you to give me perception checks.
I'm gonna magical guidance at him.
Okay. All right, as you are making your way in this circle, the two of you will notice you're about 100 feet or so away from your companions at this point in time, and you're going to notice in this small area where there's just a couple trees, not exactly a forest, you notice a humanoid figure steady, like sort of kneeling down, perhaps on one knee, that is behind these few trees, this little copse of trees, seemingly looking out right towards you. The two of you spot this individual and can kind of just make out a little bit of a face through this light foliage, but it doesn't seem as though he's necessarily realized that you've seen him, but you're quite certain that he sees you as well.
Okay, Lexi, let's just continue our circle here. He hasn't noticed us noticing him. You saw him, right?
You don't think we should go over there and smack him?
Hang on. There's only two of us, and if he's keeping watch, then there may be more. So, I need you to just keep walking with me, and as we're walking at him, I want to see if I can cast message and direct it back towards Ranvon.
Go ahead and post message. I believe that has some components with it.
It does, but I'm going to subtly cast it using Sorcerer Point.
All right, nice. So that means it will have no verbal or somatic components. So you start just fiddling perhaps with this short piece of copper wire. And yes, this message spell will indeed go off. And what message would you like to say to Ranvon?
There's a man in this collapse of trees over here. Lexi and I both spotted. He sees us. He doesn't know that we see him. We're just going to keep up the ruse.
I get to respond, right?
You can respond to this message.
That was the response. No, I say, do you see any of the prisoners?
I can't cast it again, so I'll just... I try to subtly, while I'm making conversation with Lexi, shake my head no. Because I know he's got those wicked goggles on.
I imagine Ranvon's looking around like, where in the heck did he go? I heard his voice.
I think that's right.
You know, if I don't feel like Ranvon saw that, then I'll do it again. I'll cast message and I'll do it subtly, and I'll say, here, let me. I don't see it on there, so I'm gonna burn manually, but I gotta add it. But I'm gonna say, I don't see any prisoners. It looks like we're being watched. I don't know if this is a safe place for us to camp. Maybe we should try to take him.
Okay, I'll let the others who are near me quietly know. Frederick just he messaged me. He said he thinks he sees someone, and this might not be a safe place to camp.
You say this as you hear both Brandel and Dell just continually casting their spells, like a little zoinked out in their rituals.
I guess they're going to be doing that for a minute. They just said there was one person that they saw?
Yeah, he said he saw one guy, and that he thinks that they can see him, but he doesn't know that they're looking at him. I think.
They don't know that he saw them looking at the. Anyway, why don't? Part of me wants to just go over there and grab him and find out who the hell he is.
I mean, he's
But
probably not one of the prisoners if they're letting him out.
Right, and I mean, it also might just be some random person out in the woods. That happens on occasion. Why don't we? Just looking at my
If it was a
skills.
random guy, I think they'd grab him and make him a prisoner too, though, wouldn't they?
That's more than likely.
Some random guy hanging out in the slave trade route.
There's people that live out in the woods, but maybe not in the slave trade cove thing. All right, listen, I can make one of us really fast. We can just like go bum rush them and drag them off, and we can talk to them, or we just get the hell out of here and worry about it tomorrow.
I mean, I can't respond to Frederick anymore. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, maybe, or we can just go smack him.
Leopold and Silver stand up, well, crouch up and start heading towards. I guess was I able to see where Frederick and Lexi are kind of wandering around right now?
They're making a bit of a wide circle, so you can spend a little bit of time kind of scouting around for them. And yeah, you eventually will spot them out at a distance. However, during this time, if you guys have had this bit of chat, Frederick and Lexi, you guys try to act, nonchalant, kind of walk away from this area. You're kind of coming up on your next arc, and you kind of like subtly look back and look in that same direction. Go ahead and give me perception checks again. Yes, as you look towards that same copse of trees, looking for that just face that was kind of plucked between those two branches, you see no sign of the figure.
Right, Lexi, let's go back to the group. I don't like that.
Well, I guess we scared him off.
Perhaps. Or maybe he went and told people that we were here. I think we should get the crew and move.
I think we can take him.
Maybe
All
so,
right.
but we don't want to be surprised. Perhaps the element of surprise being on our side would be more advantageous. Let's go round up everybody.
Sounds good.
So we'll start making our way towards the group and where we know Brandon and Dell and Ranvon and Leo are.
All right, you guys start retracing your steps, heading back towards the group. All right, you guys get together, and yeah, you can see that both Brandel and Dell are still continuing to cast their spell. Dell's probably getting close to completion at this point in time, but yeah, you reconnect.
So we want to move a little bit, get out of this particular area.
I don't know. I didn't catch a particularly good vibe, so it looked like he was watching us. I don't think he saw that me and Lexi saw him, for sure. But when we looked again, he was no longer there. So, one of two things. Either he felt like he couldn't take us and he would go prey on an easier target, or two, he was a scout and now he's going to go tell whoever he was scouting for that we're here.
Let's move to a different location, put the dome up now, and try and camouflage ourselves somewhere in some trees maybe, or a bush. I guess, I don't know, they might have magical casters, but the dome at least is going to make it a little bit harder for them to get at us. And if they do, we'll just, I guess, blow them up like we usually do.
Sounds like a good enough plan. You gather Brandon. Are they done or close to done?
You can never tell, all that chanting. I think they were close.
Well, I don't know if we should let them finish. We need to move. We can identify these things later. And I'll put my hand on Brandal's shoulder and just gently shake and say, hey, buddy. We need to move. We're being watched.
I was nearly there. And then the globe, the pearl and the globe will drop into my lap. Well, if you say so, but man, it was right at the tip of my tongue. All right, let's go. Who? What? Where? Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll go over to Dale and put my hand on his back and do the same thing. I know you're trying to summon your friend, but it's not safe here.
How far in the casting would I be, Adam?
You're about 9-minute mark.
Okay, Dell just ignores him. Keeps working on the spell.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys spend another minute here as you're kind of, Frederick, trying to get Dell's attention. He seemingly is not really responding to you. At the 10-minute mark, that spell will go off, and it's a warhorse. Is that what it is that pops in?
Yeah.
All right, so the warhorse suddenly appears out of nowhere next to Dell as the spell completes. The rest of you are kind of just looking at one another. Some of you have been filled in on what has occurred.
I'm still patting him on the back for like the full minute. Like, hey man. Hey, oh! Okay, all right. There was a guy, Dale. He was keeping an eye on us, and he's no longer there. We don't know if he was a scout or...
Okay, yeah. And you see Dell's warhorse, and he looks at it, and he goes, all right, Cole, time to mount up. And he like mounts up on to the warhorse. It's all black.
It's pretty sick, man. All right. Leo suggests that we throw up the dome quickly and camouflage ourselves, maybe against the tree line. Maybe keep an eye out.
Let's just move a little ways away to a different kind of, I guess, maybe not a fully different area, but let's go like a couple 100 feet away. Find some bushes or shrubs that wouldn't make it completely apparent that there's this strange hemisphere dome out in the middle of the woods. And Brandel, make it green so that it blends in with the leaves.
Yes, of course. And Brandel's already like 10 feet on the way to where you're pointing. Let's go.
Also, I can communicate telepathically with Cole. So if he gets spooked, he will let me know.
That's good. Just be on your guard, everyone. Ranvon, are you okay? I know you took a couple of hits there. I can give you a little juice if you need it.
I was just going to try and see if I could pull through. I'm a little low on supplies myself, so I'll stay back this time. I took a lot of hits in the earlier fights.
I've still got plenty of healing I can give, so I'll keep my eye on you.
I got you. And I just start stabbing Ranvon with my crossbow, casting Cure Wounds. We'll do 2, and we'll see where we end up. That's 13 points of healing.
That's what I imagine.
It's like the the air gun things that have like you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The little CO2 hiss.
Yeah, that's it. It's just on a crossbow. That's all.
Okay,
So-
that feels better. Thank you.
You want more?
If you've got more, yeah.
I'll do it another. That's another 6. I got 2 left if you need it.
Let's save them in case someone else needs them during this encounter.
I love this thing. All right. Okay, let's move. Moving now.
Moving.
We're moving.
All right, so your intention here, is it to head closer to the cove? Are you heading off direction? Give me an idea of which way you're going.
head away from the cove? Is you said we came out of the swamp. Is there like maybe a little like tree clump or anything like that?
Oh, there
Or it
actually
all
is
just
one.
plains?
No, 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 no. We want to avoid the tree clump that the guy was hanging out in. Like, can we go away from that direction?
You can. Which direction away would you like to go? So keep it in mind, you guys came from like up this way. The cove that you're heading to is more down this way. You heading west, east? What are we thinking?
Which direction was the guy when we were walking from where we are now?
So keeping in mind that this is on a very, very big scale, he would have been northeast from you.
So let's head southwest.
So
yeah.
right towards the cove? Yeah, you can do that.
Southeast.
What do you think, Leo?
Southeast.
Okay. You know, we used to call that Lex East. What a time that was.
Oh yes.
I believe Lex East was actually west.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
This is Lex East.
Yeah, that's right. It was northwest.
All right, so it sounds like you guys want to travel. Is this like a short distance, maybe half hour or so southeast, just to give a little bit of distance?
Anti-Lex East, yes.
Anti-Lex East.
Yeah.
And we're definitely looking for what Leo was mentioning, like a good area where we can try to camouflage the dome. Even though it's an odd shape, maybe we can hide it amongst some shrubbery.
Okay, yeah, whoever's leading that search, go ahead and give me a survival check.
I look at Lexi. Yo,
Yeah,
best, I
yeah,
guess
I'm
you
on
know
it.
it. Yeah.
All right, yeah, you spend a little bit of time kind of as you're exiting this area, Lexi, just kind of meandering, knowing that you're not really going in a particular direction here. You're just trying to find something appropriate environmentally, and you find it pretty easily, even with that bonus from Leopold there. So yeah, you're able to find a little area that is kind of tucked away. It's kind of like a little bit downhill. There's some bushes here that actually look to bear berries. They're these sort of like reddish black berries. You can see they're decently sized, maybe like the size of a nickel or so. And there's a lot of them in this area, but it looks as though if you were to put the hut somewhere by them, it would give you sort of a natural camouflage.
Hey guys, I think I found the perfect spot.
You always do.
Well, I try. Brandon, can you do the thing?
Yes, but you all have to stay close to me. Remember how this works. I think that's right, Adam. They need to be within a 10-foot radius of me, and then the hut comes up, and then they're inside.
That is correct, yes. If they're outside of it while you're doing that, once the spell goes off, they will not be able to enter.
So no more wandering around. You ready?
I just wanted to check one more thing out. I'm just kidding.
I
Okay.
have to pee. I have to pee.
Hurry up. We all
Hold
have to
on.
go to the bathroom.
Well, you have 10 minutes to do that. I'm gonna hit the hut and start the ritual timer.
Somehow hit the hut sounds like a saying, like I'm going to go pee, but all right. All right, so you spend 10 minutes here, so 10 minutes, 11 minutes with the ritual cast. Is there anything in particular anybody's doing during this time?
Yeah, I'll pick some berries at him.
Sure, yeah. So you head over to these bushes. You can see there's quite a collection here, probably 8 to 10 bushes in all, and they're decently sized, maybe like 4 feet diameter a piece. So they kind of like start narrow, these like thin branch-like limbs that reach outwards. Think of it almost like as a shrub in essence, but it has these decent-sized berries on them, quite a few of them. So you spend maybe 5 minutes or so, picking these berries. There doesn't seem to be any thorns or anything of any kind of danger, and they have a bit of a sweet smell to them, Frederick.
Okay, yeah, I'm just that satchel that we found back at Bachmay's little compound that Frederick found the little scrolls in. He's just stuffing it full of berries. He's thinking about a recipe for a new wine, and he'll like pick, and then scan around, make sure he's not being followed, keeping his eyes in that northeasterly direction, making sure no one's creeping up on him. But he'll wait and do that until Brandal kind of gives his 8-minute warning.
Del will just sit up on top of Cole, just keeping an eye out. Trying not to disturb the ground too much.
Okay, yeah. So you collect some berries. The rest of you kind of just relax as Brandel conjures up the dome. This time passes by uneventfully so as you guys all get close as the spell is getting ready to go off. And sure enough, that dome suddenly pops into existence and is over all of you. Remind us, Brandel, what does the inside of the dome look like?
Yes, glad you asked. You see, it's has all of the comforts of home. It has a nice round end table in the middle with a hookah on it, with these nice flavored tobacco on top, and the charcoals are well lit, and you can relax and have a smoke. There's tea, and there's all these cushions around the side. It's very lush with like thick like red fabric and drapes, not covering any windows, but maybe a little nice gas lantern and stuff. It's quite comfortable, but the outside is definitely green.
All right, so you guys are finding yourself able to sort of relax in here, let down your guard a little bit as you know that this is fairly safe, though there are some ways of circumventing the protections of the dome. But based on what you've encountered here so far, you don't expect anything too dangerous. So you kind of rest and relax for maybe 20 to 30 minutes here. And it's about that time when each of you kind of looks to one another as you're kind of sniffing and realize that you're catching whiffs of wood smoke.
So they either decided to abandon the whole thing and have started a fire at their camp, or they started a fire to burn us alive. Which do you think?
Can they do that while we're in here?
You all can move freely and come back, as long as you were inside when I casted it, so you can take a look if you wish. You're not
get
trapped.
your goggles. Get those goggles. Let's go see if we can figure out where the smoke's coming from.
Okay, sure.
And I'll stay here, Adam, and why not, since I'm not doing anything? Now, when I'm casting a ritual spell, I'm not like oblivious, right? It's just like I'm concentrating on a normal spell, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're not dead to the world, but yeah, you are pretty focused.
All right. No, yeah. Okay, I'll just sit in the hut.
Okay.
Try and identify those items.
So.
All right, I'll do that.
Well, take Cole with you if you feel like it, and him and I can speak if trouble arises. We'll know where you went.
Ooh, why don't you leave Cole here and then you come with us, and then you can let him know if we run into trouble.
Sure, I'm not very stealthy.
I mean, he's a horse, so he's quite large.
Yeah.
You can duck.
Fair enough. I'll go with you guys, and then I'll just mentally tell Cole to stay at the dome and like rear up if I send you a message that things went bad. And I'll just relay that to the people that are inside. If he gets spooked, trouble's afoot.
Understood. Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, so it sounds like, is it Leopold, Lexi, and Dell that are heading out? Ranvon, are you going with them?
I thought it was Leopold, Ranvon, and Dell, but maybe I misheard Lexi.
I didn't say anything, but I can go. I feel better now.
Maybe I'm just used to Lexi always wanting to head towards trouble.
Let's go murder them. How dare they burn anything?
All right, so yeah, if the four of you then exit out of the hut, stepping through this, and it's again this feeling that you're familiar with at this point now. You can pass through this dome. It has no real barrier to you, but it's still a little bit strange as it looks physical. You kind of pass through it, and then the environmental shift is quite prominent as you notice that it's comfortable inside. You step outside, the temperature drops pretty significantly. It's more of a cool spring day out here. So you guys start trying to track this scent of wood smoke. There's very little light left in the air. Most of you I know do see in the dark, but Ranvon, do you have some magical means of seeing in the dark?
Let me check these goggles. No.
I don't think they do that.
All right, so I know Lexi and Dell both certainly have the ability to see in the dark. How about Leopold? Does he have something?
No, he doesn't.
All right, so how are you guys traversing the dark?
I'm holding someone's hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll put my hand on Lexi's shoulder, and then Randvan can have Frederick's, and then we can just be led that way.
Dell will follow last in line, like just trying to keep like 10-15 feet between them.
All right.
Okay, wait. I feel like I got thrown off there. Leopold said Frederick. Is Frederick with us, or is he back in the hut?
Frederick's in the
I
hut.
thought Frederick. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, Frederick's smoking up on the hookah in the hut.
Yeah,
Brando,
I think Leopold's there in spirit.
Brando says to Frederick, I wonder how good they're going to be fumbling around in the dark.
When did you get this flavor?
Strawberry kiwi. It's one of my nice favorites, yes.
All right, so as the four of you are moving through the dark in a oblivious train heading through the darkness trying to see what you can find, Lexi in the front, Dell sort of towards the back. Lexi, as you're, again, following your nose for the most part, but again, advantage of dark vision, you're able to see pretty decently well. Making your way through here, you kind of turn a bit of a corner as there's a change in the elevation, kind of rises and then dips, and you notice when the land starts to dip a little bit here, off a distance of about 300 feet or so, you can see what looks to be a small campfire that is currently lit. You can see one silhouette of a figure nearby it.
Hold up, stop. Hey guys, I see the fire and where it's coming from, and there's only one dude there. Should we go talk to him?
What's the dude look like?
A black silhouette.
I gotta get closer if I'm gonna get any more details.
Can you tell if he has a weapon?
From this distance, it's hard to tell, Lexi. You're, again, 300 feet away, so making out fine details is pretty challenging.
I guess I suppose it'd be pretty weird for him not to have one anyway.
Yes. How big does he look at him?
You're guessing he's like typical human size, perhaps, but he's kind of like sitting nearby this fire, so it could be hunched over. Hard to say.
Let's go talk to him. Only crazy person would be alone in this forest anyway, so he can't be that insane and murderous.
If I had to guess, I'm gonna bet you it's one of the damn slavers trying to lure us out to talk to them and impress us with how deadly they all are, or something like that. Let's just go see, and if it turns out to be one of those a-holes, we'll just blow them up.
Well, do we only want to send one of us to go sneak around and look, or should we all just keep going like this? Because if we keep going like this, I think we're gonna give ourselves away.
Well, I don't think that's too big of a problem. Well, because if they're trying to mess with us, they'll know that they know we're here. The one guy, I guess, basically saw us, so...
I thought that we were resting in the hut. Why are we changing the plan now for this one guy and his fire?
Right, we should just leave this man alone who's camping out here. Obviously, there's a chance he might not be aware of our presence.
Because he's a button, and I have to press all of the buttons.
I mean, he saw us before. I'm pretty sure this is probably the same guy.
But then, if we're in the hut, and this guy lives, and knows about our presence, when questioned, he'll easily give us up.
Yeah, but the slavers are gonna know about us soon anyway. I mean, we could still get the drop on them they might be expecting us, but we could still hide.
We all look a little weary from our journey yesterday through the Cloakwood. Some of us more than others.
All right. Well,
I'm not good
we
at
can go
sneaking
back.
anyway, so you guys can do whatever you want. I'm going back to the hut. And he turns around, and then he turns back around and he says, okay, well, if someone who can see real well is going back, I'll go with you.
All right, let's just. I guess we established that the forest isn't burning down around us, so why don't we just go back into the hut and we'll see if they try and make a move on us tonight.
Let's go back to the hut.
Fine.
All right, you guys turn tail and head back towards the hut. And yes, you're able to find it without too much difficulty. It takes you just a few minutes to get back there. You re-enter the hut and feel that warm comfort of the environment pass over you once again. I assume you probably just bring your two companions up to speed really quick. It's not too much longer after that, Brando, that your first identify will go off. Which item would you like to identify?
Let's start with the scroll being somewhat selfish.
This is a scroll of Ice Storm.
Excellent. So he has his hookah and he's like, Ice Storm! Ha! Figured it out. And he'll go back to his concentration.
All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to do during this 11 minutes? Okay, hearing nothing, we will pass that 11 minutes by quickly. Brando, you're able to identify this one as well. This is a potion of diminution.
I think it shrinks people.
That is it, yes.
It shrinks people. I never heard of this.
Yes, it makes you tiny. You know, there's that one spell that makes people big. It can also make people small, and this will make people small.
Do I learn the effects of it? How long it lasts and stuff like that?
You do, yeah. So when you drink this potion, you gain the reduce effect of the enlarge/reduce spell for 1d4 hours. No concentration required. And you notice that the red in the potion's liquid continuously contracts to a tiny bead and then expands to color the clear liquid around it. So this is the one that looks more like sewage water, but as you're focusing on it more entirely and casting this identify spell, it seems as perhaps this might just be a bit misleading and trying to throw off anybody trying to analyze this bottle short of an identify spell.
Anyone particularly interested in this? Who would you think would be the best to have it at their person?
Oh, me.
Does when you're small, I have to look up the spell. Does it affect the damage that you do?
It does, yes.
It reduces it.
Never mind.
I knew that would talk you out of it.
Well, it may be good for, like, if we're going to free some slaves, like, maybe they're in a cage, and we could have them sip that little potion and bloop, pluck them right on out of the cage,
It's true. Should I just hold on to it then, or one of you? I don't particularly.
Here, I'll take it, and I feel like sometimes I'm in weird situations, so that might make the most sense. But if anyone else needs it or thinks they might be able to use it, then I'll pass it off.
Okay, you take it. I'll take it off my sheet.
Okay, so you guys have the hut up here. You have an opportunity to rest. I assume you guys are going to just try to get a long rest here in the hut?
With watches.
With watches. All right, who would like to take the first watch? I assume like 2 hours apiece?
I'll take it.
Okay, so I will assume that most of you guys bed down here, getting your rest in. Don't think we have any full elves in the group, so nobody's trancing. But yeah, so Lexi, you're sort of at the edge of the hut here. Go ahead and give me a perception check. As you're watching through the hut here, you're going to notice, again, it's very dark around you, and dark vision gives you that sort of gray tone vision of everything you can see, so no color. But as you're kind of just spinning around, you're not seeing much. You're kind of eyeing around, maybe yawning a little bit here as the sleep's getting ready to come upon you. But you notice at the edge of your vision, a figure suddenly steps in, just barely within the range of your vision, and you can see this taller, looks to be human man.
Leo, wait. Hey,
What?
there's the guy's back.
Oh, all right. Let's see what.
Wait. Oh. Look,
You just standing over there like a creeper?
there he is.
And she points this direction, Leopold, but you realize it's dark out there.
Frederick. Ranvon. Whoever can see this guy. Ranvon has the glasses, right?
Raymond's asleep unless you're waking him up.
Wake up.
No. No, it hasn't been 2 hours. That's not fair.
All right, fine.
And to,
Never mind. Go back to sleep.
and to clarify, is Cole inside the hut or is he outside the hut?
Cole would be outside of the hut because I don't think he fits inside the hut.
He'd be pretty big, yeah. Okay, so if he's outside the hut, I don't think he has dark vision though, right? So he probably can't see much.
Well, it'd be a fiend. I don't know if that changes, but probably not. The warhorse has a really low passive anyway, so.
Okay, yeah, so he probably doesn't really even know what's going on at this point in time, but yeah, he would still be just on the outskirts of the hut.
Leo's just gonna go for it, and he's gonna go stick his head outside of the dome and just shout out into the night. All right, we saw you. We've seen you a couple times. What do you want? And then he sticks his head back in the hut. He sticks it back out, and he says, We're not going to hurt you unless you try and hurt us, and then we'll probably blow the shit out of you. So just FYI, and then he puts his head back in the hut.
You'll actually hear a chuckle come from the edge past the hut to the direction where Lexi was pointing here, but no other response. Lexi, you're kind of watching in this direction as you notice Leopold stick his head out and do this, and you notice the guy kind of laughs with a hearty smile, and he just turns and starts walking away.
Hey, you don't want to talk? I mean, you just came over here to do something. Why don't you do it?
Just never mind. Everybody go back to sleep. Screw this guy.
Okay, fine. Leo's shouting in the middle of the night. We'll see you tomorrow, probably.
All right, the rest of you
Good night.
The rest of you guys take your watches, but they pass by uneventfully so, and you are able to get your long rest in.
All these things to click.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to roll here.
As everybody gets up and starts preparing and doing their little morning ritual, Frederick will pop one of those berries in his mouth at him. Does he die?
He does not. No, he finds it to be a bit tart. It has like a sweet tart taste to it, but yeah, it's pretty decent.
I'll continue to eat a couple while I wait for everybody to finish up. And I am, with the light out, I just want to not straying away from the group or anything. I just want to see if I can see in the general direction of where they were talking about. Do I see anybody still watching?
Give me a not passive. Give me an active perception check. No, you scan around this area looking for any kind of threats or anything. Nope, you don't see anybody.
Whatever you guys saw last night, he's not here. I'm quite sure of it.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to mess with us.
Well, we
He's
messed with
seen
him
us
back,
this
didn't
time.
we?
Sure did.
So for today, I suppose we go and investigate this cove, yes?
think so. Yeah, I imagine they're. Well, I don't know if it will be apparent, but maybe we'll find a spot that looks like it's seen some use or has some trash in it or something.
Ranvon, do you need time to pray and reallocate some spells for this next adventure? Watch your back.
I'll be ready by the time you guys are. Adam, I'm just swapping out a spell so I can take Greater Restoration.
Okay.
While he's doing that, Frederick stands behind him, like arms crossed, keeping an eye out. And then I'm assuming Brando's over there flipping through his book as well, going back and forth, looking at his ball real quickly.
Yes, and my third eye is changing from read all languages to dark vision, Adam.
Okay.
Just based on Frederick's morning actions and seeing how he knows how his party goes, it looks like Frederick has done this for quite a while, and you can kind of see it in his actions on how he goes about handling just a morning routine. And just looks well seasoned after a couple of years on the road now.
And Adam, Del, were you there when we got the Staff of Striking? A little bit admin thing here. We found this staff. It's a +3 staff. Is that something you're interested in?
Is it two-handed or one-handed?
Both.
Both.
You didn't even tell him the best part, Brando. When you hit somebody with it, you can, like, I don't know, you explained it the best. What does it do? It's cool.
Oh, it's right here. It's a quarter staff, a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls, 10 charges. When you hit with the melee attack, you may expend up to 3 charges, 1d6 force damage per charge. There you go.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Excellent. You have to attune to it.
You know, while you were in the cube, we discussed how, with your smite, which is already a thunderous boom, that this would just kind of take it to the next level, don't you think?
Yes, this will be much more effective than this longsword that I have.
Need some time to attune to it, or?
Yeah, that would probably be best.
Can we way back that conversation?
I know, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Over the long rest, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just 1 extra hour here in the morning as you guys are doing your daily constitutionals. I think you'll be okay. It's not like you're on a deadly timeline where poor slaves are being slaughtered for every moment you waste.
We gotta get our magic items in a row, though. You know, that's important.
It was not. No one said slaughter in the note. You know.
Earlier, we brought up slave trade, and now we're saying slaves for them, but they're prisoners. Like, they're not being made to do things.
They're
Right?
being they're prisoners that are given to the Black Network for enslaved.
I thought they were sacrificing them for a ritual.
No.
That was a possibility that we maybe think that isn't the case, but it's certainly possible. It's mostly slavery.
Forced to make gravel from rocks.
Something like that. Probably, dig mines and that sort of thing, or whatever.
Mining gravel.
Well, if they can't make it an extra hour, they're probably gonna die anyway.
I think you're right, Lexi. Let's get all of our things in order. And also, Del, can I have that longsword, please? Unless it's that sentimental value for you.
Sure. Here, you can have this moon-touched longsword.
Just let me know if you want it back. Thank you.
I don't. Yeah.
I feel the need to ad-lib here. You notice a pained expression on Dell's face as he hands this over to you. Even though he's given it to you to be a really good companion, you feel he really, really wants to keep it.
I'll kind of look at it. Are you sure? I don't want to take something. I'm really good with magical weapons. You know, that's the thing with me. So, if
No,
if
you should have something just in case, or you need to use something other than your crossbow. You should have something.
that was kind of my thought. But listen, it's if you want to look at it, or like just
Let me use this staff for the day and see how I like it.
fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys do a bit of swap, spend an hour here to allow Dell to attune to the Staff of Striking, which he is able to do so. And you are kind of getting all of your things together here and just kind of getting prepared. I assume you guys are then just going to head to the cove?
I think so.
All right, so you guys start heading to the west as you guys made yourself a little bit east, and you notice as you make your way a little bit west, again, pass over a little bit of a hill, there you come upon this stick that is stuck into the ground. Very obviously, it's kind of like manufactured at this point. There's no way a stick would just fall this way, and you can see what appears to be like a leaf, a very large leaf, or maybe a collection of leaves that are kind of tied to the point near the tip, and it almost gives you this impression of a very small natural container tied to the top of this stick that is dug into the ground.
Oh, obviously from our friends last night. Is it a trap or something? What is that?
Well, stand back. I can send my hand.
Oh, okay.
So Frederick will stand about 25 feet back or so, and he'll just send his mage hand, and you guys see him kind of outstretch his hand, and like a semi-scarred, burned version of Frederick's hand just extends outward, and he's going to go and reach over and try to open the natural-looking container from there, Adam.
All right, so I know you tried to do this delicately, like unwind where this natural tie is, or are you just kind of ripping it open?
Well, I don't want to, if it does have something inside of it, trap or no trap, I don't want to damage it, so I'll definitely be delicate.
Hey, Adam, with my invisible hand, can I try to catch it if it falls? But not really helping Frederick, but kind of my invisible hand doing the mage hand too.
Sure, yeah. So we have a visible hand and then an invisible hand under the visible hand, just like kind of going back and forth as a safety net. I like it. Okay. So let's see. Frederick, give me this is going to be a sleight of hand with charisma, since you're a charisma caster. So if you don't have sleight of hand, this will just be a charisma check. If you do, it's going to be just roll charisma. We'll add in your proficiency. All right. So
Maybe not magical, but favored by the gods. That.
all right. Go ahead and post favored by the gods.
I'm sorry. No, I was right with the first one. Magical guidance.
All right. You're
Reroll,
burning the
yes.
usage of magical guidance. Sure. All right. Let's see. And you must use the new roll. Okay. So as you reach out and you try to delicately do this, you end up actually squeezing this and applying so much pressure that you just tear this natural covering straight out. And stuff starts to fall out of this pretty quickly. Pieces of tattered leaves, a little bit of like white liquid type cream almost kind of starts falling out. So your invisible hand underneath that hand brandle catches a little bit of this, but most of it seems to fall to the ground. You notice almost like an oil. It's kind of a thicker oil, almost like a whitish cream, is currently floating there on the invisible hand.
I'm gonna bring my invisible hand to me, and what can I deduce from the liquid?
So as it's getting closer, I would say both you and Frederick notice almost right away that there is this very pleasant odor in the air. It smells of flowers very strongly so, and as it gets closer, that smell seems to intensify. It's not so overpowering that it's obnoxious, but based on the quantity that's on your hand, it seems as though it is quite a bit. But yeah, it seems a very pleasant smelling fragrance.
You should taste it.
Anyone have an empty vial? Quick, search your packs.
Yeah. From the tree sap here.
Okay, yeah, all right. Gather it.
Okay. I'll take the little vial that I had from the tree sap, and I'll use Let's see. I've got a dagger, Adam, so I'll use a dagger and try to scrape it into the little vial if I can.
It's a little challenging to do because you can't see this invisible hand, so you're like kind of maneuvering. You're looking at this like oil, and you're just kind of like carving around it. It's a very strange experience, but yeah, eventually you're able to get some of this in there. You're not sure how much of this you've actually captured, but it seems like a small amount, perhaps.
And I hand it back to Brando. I say, here.
Okay, I'll grab it with my real hand. How about that?
I imagine Brandel's like shaking his real hand to try to get his invisible hand to just get the little bit of residue off.
Yes, my invisible hand's like shaking like a dog. Okay, well, how much did you get? Let's see. I recognize the liquid?
Just a little bit, you know.
It's more of like a
Not too
cream,
good.
and no, I don't think you would recognize this because this is the infamous Nobody Has Nature Proficiency group, right?
Correct.
Nope.
Can we make an proficiency check?
I mean, this one is pretty rare, so I don't think anybody would recognize it without like being actually trained in it. So yeah, I would say you would think of it mostly like a pleasant smelling flowery fragrance.
I've got an idea, Adam. So, seeing everybody kind of look at each other dumbfounded, I'll say, well, I haven't introduced you guys yet, but my companion, Cedric, he's back at my hall. He actually specializes in poisons and herbs and all sorts of things, so perhaps I can bring it to him. He may know what it is.
Well, I'm more curious in why the gentleman left it for us.
Well, we can't assume. We went in a different direction, he was. Right, Adam?
You went west. He was to your east when you spotted him at first, like where you assume he was by the fire. And yes, the last time you spotted him when Leopold stuck his head out of the dome, he was to your east.
Guys, look up. Is it a trap to catch somebody with a smelling sense? Did we just avoid a trap? Like a net or something? Or a false floor?
Leo's gonna stick a pinky finger into the cream.
The cream in the container, or you're walking up to the residue where the stick is in the ground?
Residue where the stick is in the ground.
All right, so you head up to the stick into the ground. You kind of reach out your pinky finger, stick it into the cream. The odor is definitely stronger the closer you get to it. Yeah, you have a little bit of this cream on your finger.
It doesn't turn me into a fiend or burn my skin away or anything.
Not yet.
I think it's okay. I don't know what it is, but I think he kind of left it for us to have, you know? I know we don't trust anyone because we spent like a million years in hell, but I think he's okay. Just on a gut feeling.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this small amount here in this vial and take it back to Cedric. Maybe we can get an idea of what it is.
Sure, here you go.
Hey, mysterious man, if you're around and you're just watching us because that's what you do, you can come and talk to us. Hello? I just called out.
You hear no response, Leopold.
Okay, fine. Maybe we'll run into him again.
All right, so as this strange encounter wraps up, is you guys intent to continue heading towards the cove?
Yes.
All right, so you guys continue traveling in that direction towards the cove and have to walk a few more hours before you start to get to an area that looks promising. So you're in this sort of higher elevation that leads down more towards like a sandy beach at different angles. You can spot different parts of the beach, and then there's like a gap where the water actually is. So it's a bit difficult to totally get your bearings, but as you get closer, you definitely notice the change in the atmosphere as you can smell the sea salt in the air, and you can start to hear the sound of the seashore getting closer and closer as you push through this somewhat jungle-like terrain. As you get closer, that is where we will go ahead and stop here and take our 15-minute break, guys.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys, we are back from break here. So we're picking back up as the player characters have continued pushing across the plains and enter nearby this cove. They have just arrived sort of on the outskirts of this, pushing through a bit of a somewhat jungle-like terrain as they're making their way closer to the cove itself. Clearly can hear the sound of the waves crashing into the shore not far away. All right, players, I'll put you guys back on the map for now as you're getting closer to that cove.
Yeah, how far away? Let's have a look. Oh no, no new map. I'm wondering. So I'm gonna say, you guys, remember in Zariel's dream, I was able to get telepathic communications going. Let me know when's a good time. I can cast it as a ritual. It might take some time, but keep that in mind as we head forward.
Good call. Maybe if we actually see something, we'll stop wherever we are and then do that.
Okay.
All right, so you press on, pushing through this lightly jungle-like terrain, making your way down a sloping path. Again, pushing through this sort of heavier foliaged area. You start to make out some of the sandy shore, a ridge, and a somewhat sandy path that perhaps leads down. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and move you guys to a new map. All right, you guys are free to move as you wish, keeping in mind that obviously wherever you move, you might run into something.
Can you tell us directionally which way we're going at?
You have come from the northeast and you're heading southwest around this cove-like bend. All right, Ranvan, as you kind of poke out here, looking over this ridge that you see to your southeast, you can spot a couple of people down below on the sandy shore, seemingly moving and hauling some boxes.
Brando, this is the time, I think. Let's everyone just come and get behind the bushes and stay here.
They will hear him casting. Wait.
It is all three, yes. Are we within earshot or not?
They're a little ways down. They're on the beach. They're probably, if I had to guess, I'd say 90 meters from us.
What about the other side of this tree?
I haven't looked over there yet. Just 1 second, and he kind of adjusts the goggles on his head. Looking at these people, do they look like what are they wearing? Are they do they have like armor on? Can I tell if they're probably the prisoners or are they the guards?
They seem to wear very simple attire, loose, light-fitting clothing. You don't notice any weapons or armor of that sort. They just seem to be hauling. At a guess, you would have to say that these folks might be what you would consider to be laborers.
Okay. And do these people look like any of the monks we ran into? So, like, I'm thinking like similar haircuts or.
You don't notice any Immortal Lotus tattoos emblazoned on their heads, no.
Okay. The people I can see, they look like they're workers. It could be the prisoners. They don't have any weapons on them, no armor either.
Well, before I start, we should maybe, Leo, can you look at the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Just
took a bite of something. Sorry.
I just want to go on record as saying I don't think we should be casting spells that long. I don't know if you'll have time to finish it.
All right, Leo, as you step out this side of this more thick copse of these sort of jungle-like trees, you get a pretty good visual. You can see pretty wide and far. You can see the shoreline. You can see more of these boxes. And you can see a total of 3 people, I believe it is, that you can spot sort of, again, moving through these boxes and making their way off to the east and then coming back and continuing to fiddle with things.
All right. There's, I think, 3 more of them over here. It might be some of the same ones Rainbow saw. I think, yeah, he might be right, Frederick, although they seem to be pretty, I guess, unconcerned at the moment. I don't know how loud Brando's chants are, but probably decently.
It's a normal conversation tone, right?
Yes, it would be just like speaking in your normal voice. You cannot whisper a spell component.
Okay, forget that idea. Although there may still be time later.
Oh,
I don't know. Do we want to try and figure out who they are, or?
Oh, I have a plan. Maybe.
I think we should have a plan because we're going to surprise them as soon as we pop out of here.
Well, here's the thing. I've got these Immortal Lotus robes that I stole off of Silver Crane or whatever the hell his name was. What if one of us dresses up as it and then they bring in the prisoners that they're expecting, right? That could be the rest of us. And then, pow! We get them by surprise.
Oh, right. I like that.
We
Good job.
won't look like prisoners though unless we take off our armor and weapons.
Well, I was thinking about that. I know it's been over a year, but do you guys still have those really big cloaks that we got from the bathhouse?
You know, it's funny. During the off time, I was thinking, I have one. Yep, I do. I was thinking about selling it or do something with it, and I decided, keep it. I have one right here.
Well, we're gonna need more than one. What about the rest of you?
Nope, but I have my belt of fire giant strength.
Don't put that on.
I wasn't there at the bathhouse.
Yeah, I missed that episode. Sorry.
Well, okay. Well, there goes my plan. What else we got?
Well, since we're here and I have my raven, what birds are flying around, Adam?
What birds are flying around? You can certainly spot some seagulls flying around. There seems to be quite a few off in the distance. Are you looking for a particular type of bird or just trying to scope the area?
I'm trying to see how conspicuous it would be to have a raven kind of flying from tree and heading that 100 feet.
You don't see any ravens, I'll say that. So a raven probably would stick out a bit, but maybe not so much that people would notice it immediately.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I can see through its eyes.
Well, like I said, I mean, I can turn into a crab.
Why not?
Or turn one of you into a crab.
Not touching me.
I think maybe the little raven, even though they're not native to this particular spot. I mean, birds are birds, so they can fly around. They don't have to be specifically from a place. Why don't you just send them over, and if they see it and get freaked out, we'll just bum rush them and blow them up like always.
Well, they seem really busy. Yeah, I'll give it a gander, Adam.
All right, so what is your instruction to your raven?
I'm going to say fly 100 feet this direction, south, whatever. And now I'm going to look through his eyes and then fly back.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check from the raven as he is flying south.
Ooh, I got to get this. I don't have a sheet, Adam. I'm ill prepared for a
Just
raven.
roll a d20. I think I've got a rough idea. All right, so it flies out. It kind of scopes the area here, and you said you're looking through its eyes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you start looking through the raven's eyes. You can see, again, 3 individuals seemingly working on these crates. They don't seem to be noticing the raven, and they definitely seem to be laborers. It seems as though they're taking these boxes, kind of sorting through them. You notice some books that seem to be in some of these crates, and they're kind of like moving things about, and then they're setting them in this small rowboat that seems to have been pulled to shore here. At the same time as the raven is kind of scouting about, suddenly the raven pops away, and you return to your own vision, realizing your raven has been destroyed.
True to Adam's promise, Raven's dead.
Who's Adam?
Leopold, from where you're standing, you would have a line of sight of this. You would actually notice coming from the ridge far to the south is a large looking arrow, a strange one, in fact, not your typical just sort of flighted shafted arrow. This kind of looks, from your keen passive perception, it looks almost bony in nature, perhaps. And you see it just flies very straight. It seems to hit the raven with ease, and you see the raven just pops away, and this arrow just kind of spirals and then hits into the sandy beach.
All right, we have a problem.
What?
The thing that took out your raven is, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like a bone arrow. Sounds horrifying. So I imagine there's something terrible, or at least someone has a terrible set of arrows down that way. Maybe some quills, like a bone quill. Things shoot those off sometimes. Anyway, there's definitely more than just the laborers here. So I don't know what. If we want to keep trying to maybe sneak around, I don't think we can get too much further before we're just out in the open.
Like I said, I can turn you into a crab, and you can go check it out, Leo.
Wait, I thought you said you could turn yourself into a crab.
It's way easier if I do somebody else. Way easier.
What about a giant crab?
That's definitely going to get some attention, but we don't
I've
want
heard of these things called giant hulking huge crabs, I think. They're pretty nice.
I tell you what. If you go as a mini crab and things go wrong, I'll change you into a giant ape and you can go crazy, okay?
Okay.
Come over here, please. And I am... So, Adam, I read this, and it doesn't look like this... it's just one at all times, right? Are you reading that no matter what level the spell is?
That is correct.
Perfect. So I am going to subtly cast Polymorph, and I'm going to turn Leopold into a crab. So what you see is Frederick kind of pulls out this cocoon and kind of like one eye kind of squinting, like he's measuring. He's going to put it up against Leo's face, and then just with a little faint little pop, you just kind of fall down into a crab. And I'm like, okay, buddy, we've got your back.
How do you talk to it? I mean, Leo.
You don't. He's gonna run down there. He's gonna look around, do his crab thing, click clack, and then run back, and I'll change him back.
Leo reaches out with his crab claw hand and doesn't clamp it on anyone, but he does pat Frederick's foot as he waddles by.
As he leaves, they say, "You better watch out for those seagulls."
Del pulls a dagger out of his boot and he's hands it towards the crab to see if the crab takes the dagger.
Nice. I'll take it and I'll hold it for a moment and then I'll just let it go and let it drop and I'll start waddling away.
All right, and as a quick reminder, with this spell, you have the intelligence of a crab. So this doesn't mean that you have to randomly attack your allies and that sort of thing, but keeping in mind that a crab is not bright at all, think any kind of intelligent thinking or plans or any of that are certainly going to be impacted.
He just wants to go and look. So he's going to go and look.
Fair enough. He has a 1 intelligence, so keep that in mind. Feel free to move him, though.
Oh, boy. It's a little different when you're in 20 intelligence and then you suddenly have 1. Okay, moving.
All right. Actually, I'll ask you to hold up just 1 second there. I'm going to make sure that everybody can see out of this. As we get a fancy polymorph spell here. All right, there we are. So the crab is moving across the shore. You're free to move. So as it's moving, you're just kind of moving side to side as crabs do, just kind of moving very slowly with those little tiny legs, moving through the sand. Let me check perception real quick. Passive perception is a 9, so he's not spotting too much here. But continue to feel free to move. Obviously, you can see what you can see. So you can see these laborers kind of moving about, operating, and kind of moving these boxes and things. But other than that, you don't spot anything out of the ordinary.
He's just zigging and zagging, living his best crab life.
Did you say you could set up so we could see out of it?
Not you guys, but that the audience could see out of it.
Okay, right.
Okay, so as you make your way down this way, you notice out of the crab's eyes a very odd looking creature that is large in size. As you take a look at this creature, even though this image is going to make it look as though it's a teal or perhaps blue scale, these are actually red scales on this creature. The creature stands as tall, is very tall, and he looks to be armored from head to clawed foot in these crimson scales. It holds on to this strange looking bow that looks to be made perhaps not of bone but of scale, in fact, and you can see that the bowstring itself has a sort of red crimson, almost fiery wisp atmosphere to it.
Okay. Leo Crab will I guess look at it with his beady little eyes and just kind of like slowly walk up here. Just kind of going.
All right, as you get to there, I'm going to go ahead and lock the tokens, and I'm going to ask you for your choice of either performance or deception check here at advantage, as you're trying to imitate what a crab would look like, and we'll see if this creature can see through how you're reacting now.
I imagine with the crab statistics, so a -2 on that.
Yes, a -4 actually.
Which stat block are you using there?
Just called Crab. It is the tiny beast that is challenge rating 0. And I actually gave you access to this, so it's probably near the very bottom of the list.
Oh, okay, got it. Hold on. I was looking at D&D Beyond, so.
Oh, actually, it's stored under it's going to be stored under the creatures, I'm sure.
But just a reminder, this show is sponsored by Roll20, which we love.
Actually, try the very top, actually, Leo. I think it might be at the very top for you.
I see it. I was looking all the way down. I got it. Got it. Okay, here we go. At advantage. 2 GM. I guess I'll just roll this. Here we go. Oh, it did do it advantage. Amazing.
Okay, so with that... Yeah, so you're moving in your little crab-like stance and trying to pull this off to just act as you are without, giving anything away. You do notice this creature kind of turns, and its large frame, its eyes that are kind of filled with this strange reddish color, seem to indeed spot you, but perhaps it doesn't notice you as any kind of threat, and it continues just looking to the north and kind of scanning northeast here. You can see based on where it is on this ridge, it's a bit back and it's kind of hunkered down. So you think anybody down below would have a hard time seeing it or far away.
Quick question. How long has the crab walk from where we started out to here taken?
Your crab would have no idea. What is time?
Oh my God. Okay. I was going to keep on crab walking then. Here? Okay. Next question. The bliff thing here?
Yes.
How does it look like? I'm not going to ask for feet because obviously crabs can't understand that. But does it look like a crab hurdy distance, or is it okay?
A crab hurt? What is that?
It's crab hurdy distance. Does it hurt?
Oh, okay. No, you think jumping down here, like where you're at right now, is probably 20 feet from the top to the water. Going into the water, being really tiny, crab probably thinks, yay, water.
That is 100% what he's going to do. He's going to launch himself off into there. And I think now he's actually got a pretty decent swim speed. Well, not decent. He's got same swim speed as he
exactly
did.
the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, he feels better in the water. He's just going to swim kind of back here now. Nothing here. He's just, yeah. To basically get back here, and then I guess he's going to come into the wall and he's going to start just hanging out and going down this way. I think he's finally looking for his friends wherever they may be. If he can find them, he might wander a little over here, get lost. Before he's finally.
And all right, team, you notice a very dangerous tiny crab rushing towards you, pincers ready to strike.
Get it, Silver, get it! Oh, wait. And I'll snap and I'll drop the spell.
All right, and the crab will vanish as Leopold reappears.
You didn't die.
Whoa, that was. Do you know how strange it is to go from being a mammal to an arthropod? This is just wow. Listen, there's this thing down there that it looks like a green thing with it's trying to think. Just okay, now that Leo is normal Leo again, would he have any idea what that actually was?
Possibly. Give me an Arcana check, Leo. So recalling the features that you spotted as a crab. Actually, you know what I'm going to say is give me an Arcana check at disadvantage just because you're trying to remember from crab brain. Yes, so you do recall having looked at this creature. You're trying to translate the crab information that you received over towards your own mind. And yeah, you do recall that this creature is what's known as a Dracotar. So this name is portmanteau. You think of sort of like when you think of a centaur being like a human-horse hybrid, a Dracotar is sort of a dragon-horse hybrid, but it's more of like a lizard body. So think of it like an elongated lizard body with a humanoid draconic figure, body, torso. They tend to be very strong. They are known to have a breath weapon, much like a dragon does, and they're quite pretty fierce opponents.
So that's what's down there. So we'll have a tough go of it, but we've killed archdevils and stuff, so probably okay until the hags show up.
Is that the one in red scales, right?
Yes.
And just one of them watching these people on the exterior here.
There was a section that I didn't go into just because I didn't want to get closer to it because it seemed very, very, very scary while I was a crab. So I kind of stayed away from it, but I saw him. There may be more.
That many varies, huh?
Well, things are very strange as a crab. It's very heightened. You don't know what that means, but they it's much more intense.
Well, guys, what do you think? Ranvon, you usually have a great plan for something like this.
He adjusts the goggles back and looks over. He says, "Well, I'm not really the sneaky sort, and they're a little far away, so I was just gonna see what you guys came up with this time. As soon as I start moving, they're gonna know." And he taps his plate armor.
I could make a couple of us invisible if we wanted to maybe sneak them down there and have them in a better position, but then we'll be separated from at least some of us, so I don't know, that might not be the best idea.
Well, let me ask you this, Leo. Do you think that creature is from this realm here, Faerun, the material plane? Because if I can get a clean shot, perhaps I can send him back to his plane instead.
You think Dracotars are not extraplanar creatures?
I think they're natives.
So banishment will be out of the picture. Okay.
I mean, banishment will work. It just won't permanently banish them.
Yes, but if there's only one of them and we make them disappear, we may have some time to get some of the slaves to run away, or some time for us to move forward.
I didn't really see any slaves, unless it's the laborers down there. They're putting stuff in a rowboat. So that means that there's probably a ship somewhere also.
They're taking the books. I was able, before the raven fell, that they were loading books in those crates.
Well.
Here's what I think will happen. I think we could take out the Dracotar more or less with some difficulty, but once we start doing our usual blowing people up thing, that will probably signal to whatever ship is anchored offshore that there's something going on. So they may rush in here, or they may, I don't know. Are cannons a thing? Um,
So what is our plan? We're to take care of this Dragotar, board a ship, and free the slaves. It sounds like a lifelong pursuit of a very righteous cause of ending slavery, but it seems like it's maybe beyond. Can we just gather information and tell someone about it?
we're the people that they tell, though. You know,
Isn't there a cave? Was there a cave, Leopold?
that might have been in the area that I didn't go near.
Well, well, think of it this way, right? They don't just have a rowboat on some random area on the shoreline to load up, right? There's a cave or some kind of area that you probably didn't see around the corner where there's some kind of stockpile. They're gathering an encampment, perhaps, but I imagine if there are any current slaves, I don't think they would put them on the ship. I think they would probably still be here.
All right. Here's my. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry,
Well, the thing is, I would feel more comfortable if we took just a few steps back and I could actually cast a spell. I could send my eye downrange, and that would give us just a better feel and decide if we really want to end our lives in defending abolishing slavery here in Faerun. They've got to be significantly armed on that boat.
Brenda, are you okay with letting innocent people just be captured and taken away?
No, of course not. It's a lifelong pursuit, though. I mean, aren't there organizations set up in Faerun? Are we the ones who just, anytime someone says something's wrong, we're the heroes of Faerun? We should go back to Candlekeep, get our 8,000 gold pieces, tell someone about what we found, and rather than end our lives here by ourselves, boarding a ship in the middle of a cove.
We don't know there's a ship. It's a rowboat. We didn't see a ship. This is all speculation, Brenda.
Exactly.
But what I can tell you that we know that supposedly there are supposed to be slaves either being delivered here or already here. Now, I don't know about you. It could be a lifelong pursuit, maybe for Ranvan or like Dell. I don't plan on making it my pursuit, but if I can stop these folks here and now and save these folks here and now, I will.
Well, let me send my eye downrange. Just get further away because they haven't noticed us yet.
Check out the area around where that the Dracotar is, because that was definitely where I did not go. Also, we probably have enough firepower between all of us to level a mountain, so I don't think. I mean, we can certainly get beat up and jacked up by them, but we'll probably be okay.
If it makes you feel any better, if I see a ship and it looks like it's going to shoot us, I will fireball it. A lot.
Well, it would make me feel better if I could see it through my mind's eye.
Okay, but if we move backwards, we need to be quiet in doing so.
So we're having a conversation right now, Adam. Has anyone heard us? Are they still loading up the boxes?
It seems as so, yes.
So then I guess Brian's thinking, would casting my spell be any louder than what we've been talking here?
I will let you make that decision. You would, from a purely mechanical answer, the answer is no.
Just turn your body away from the beach, so your mouth is pointing back towards the jungle.
All right, I'm gonna step back maybe a few, maybe 20 feet off map here to the north, and I'll give us a bit more. And if if you guys are okay with it, I can arcane eye it if you think it's worth it.
Why not?
Do it.
Any
Get it over
objections?
with.
All right, so you step 20 feet off map, and you can't conjure your arcane eye. So you spend that spell slot, and your goal here is to just try to scan around, seeing what you can see?
Yes.
Okay, you detect no additional information other than what Leopold has also already been able to determine. There is no cave down by the Dracatar. Give me how much time are you willing to spend doing this?
Yeah, I don't want to belabor this, but I mean, it could stay with me if we clear an area or something. But I do want to see if there's a boat downrange.
Okay, so you're trying to send the eye across the water and start looking around?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, the eye can only see 30 feet in any direction, and it literally stops right there. So once you get out on open water, you're going to have no idea where you are.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on I'll get 30 feet offshore, so I have an idea.
Okay, so you always have a point fixed of the shore?
Yeah.
Okay, so you use your eye to move. It can move at a regular pace, so you go up and you go down the shoreline all the way down a good distance. You don't see any boat. You don't see any kind of ship other than the rowboat that was on the shore. I'm going to say doing this so far, you spent about 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. I don't see a boat. Maybe it's just a rowboat. I think you're right, Frederick.
I have a plan, or a small part of the plan on dealing with the Dracotar. You remember when we were in Idle Glen and I was firing those crossbow bolts off way far away? I could probably do that again.
And also, this could not even be what we're actually looking for with the Black Network. You know, it could be further down. We never know.
I know alignments with creatures is a hot button issue right now, Adam. But is there any general feeling on Dracotars and kind of what they get involved in on the Sword Coast?
It kind of depends on the type. For red scale Dracotars, like the one that you spotted, they tend to be similar in disposition to red dragons. Not exactly the same, but similar. They're basically selfish and trying to accumulate treasure and power.
Also, he did just, I don't know, take out your raven, and probably the raven, I imagine, like disapparated instead of died, right? So I guess he might know that someone's around.
No, that's true. And they are stealing library books. I know that for a fact, which is unforgivable.
That's the critical point here. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm a man of action now. What do you say we do?
Not to mention all of those books. Let's
go kill
in the
them.
Candlekeep, yeah.
Here's. Oh no, that won't work. I can make. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to ease everybody's tension, if this is the guy from the letter, let's just call him by his name. What is it, Cthulhu-Desh?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Maybe we can pretend like that's who it is. Like we assume that's who he is and see if we get a reaction from him.
We could always be like, we were sent here by Bakmei.
How far away does your message work?
120 feet or so.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe you just get a little further out there, message him, put on the immortal robes over your current robes, and then send him a message saying, "Hey, Cthulhu-Desh, we're immortal monk Lotus people. Hello," and go from there.
I like that plan before I saw his arrow completely destroy Brando's raven. What? There's only one of them. It's been confirmed in 2 different ways. Let's just take this bastard.
I might be able to put the the symbol on your forehead for a short while, magically. It'll go away on its own.
Hey, Adam, I'm gonna move the eye up. Are they moving the books now or away? I mean, has it sped up? Are they loaded up the rowboat by now? We've been here a while.
Yes, so you're trying to move the eye to be close enough to watch this scenario?
Yeah, I want to see if they're how well we're talking. I want to make sure I have a timeline here.
All right, so I'm going to move the eye out a distance here. So you're keeping a focus on these laborers, and you see that they load this boat up, and eventually you can see lips moving, but you can't hear out of the eye. So you're going to notice one of them actually gets in this boat that looks to be pretty heavily loaded with books now, and he slowly starts oaring it backwards.
They're leaving now.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Go.
Oh, should I ride Colin as a distraction?
Yeah, let's just go. Whatever you think is best, Dale.
Do your thing.
Badass horse. Let's go.
Leo's gonna zip 30 feet into the air.
Okay.
I will also cast Fly on myself, Adam, and I'll follow him up.
Okay, so I'm going to lock the tokens here. So, Leopold, you click your heels together, right, to send yourself into the air. However, Frederick, as you verbally cast the fly spell here, you hear the sound of movement almost immediately around you. And I'm going to double check passive perceptions here. So let's see, Frederick and Brandel, the two of you are actually going to be surprised as suddenly the earth erupts nearby. All right, let me go ahead and put on some more appropriate music. Can't have calm seashore music for this. All right, here's a brand new track, I think. All right, as this figure bursts forth from the ground, you notice a giant scorpion atop which is a dragonborn clad in reddish robes.
Seems about accurate.
All right, as that occurs, breaking forth, this guy will be the first to act.
Adam, do you mind if you turn the music up just a little bit? I can't really hear it.
I sure can, yes.
Sorry, it adds to my pressure and tenseness on my turns, you know?
Yeah, hopefully that's good. If not, maybe check your individual settings as well. Sometimes it, yeah, okay, good deal.
Perfect.
All right, so this guy is actually going to, with his mount, move. All right, once he gets to there, you're going to notice as he is riding in this saddle on top of this giant scorpion, he is going to begin to wave his hands. And he will... You are surprised. Yes, so unfortunately no reaction. He is then going to point his hands at Leopold, who's flying clear up in the air at 30 feet. And Leopold, you're going to notice as he waves his hand, casting this spell. Remind me what type of armor you are wearing.
Breastplate.
Your breastplate suddenly gets very warm.
I bet it does.
So as he focuses on this and it begins to heat up, you can feel, like I say, this just intense heat coming right from that breastplate.
Is that on my turn I'm going to have to deal with that, or does that happen now?
It says, let's see, you cause the object to glow red hot. Any creature in physical contact takes damage when you cast the spell, so you're going to suffer some damage now. Oof, that'll be 16 points of fire damage to Leopold. And, let's see, you will have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks while wearing this heated breastplate. Okay, that is going to be his turn. All right, next guy also on a mount is going to move over. is going to rush right up towards you as you hear the sound of this scorpion's legs just clattering against the ground, digging into the sand and a little bit of earth here. You're going to notice another dragonborn riding atop this one. He looks to be clad more in armor, and you can see a blade in his hand. As he gets towards here in the saddle, he is actually wielding a halberd. He is going to swing that out towards Lexi. And Lexi will be struck 2 times by this halberd. That will be 13 points of slashing damage to Lexi. All right, next up is this guy's turn, who's also going to move with his mount. And this guy's turn, and then we move to Dell's turn. So Dell, based on your passive perception, you are not surprised by this. Go ahead and take your turn.
Yep. All right. Crap. I guess Dell will. What do I want to do? Dell's gonna hit this rider over here with a chill touch.
All right, you cast Chill Touch out at the rider. Yeah, go ahead and post that. It blasts out over his shoulder, but does not connect.
All right. I will summon a spiritual weapon and attack him.
All right, you conjure up the spiritual weapon. Go ahead and post that one as well. And you can drag that template on. All right, so that spiritual weapon pops into existence, stabs outwards, and does indeed connect. You can post damage for that. All right, he is wounded and will drop concentration on the heat metal because of this. And Leo, your breastplate begins to cool.
Oof. The whole time, Leo was just going, ow, 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 ow.
Dell will step to there, and he'll call out, there's 5 of them. There's 5 riders, and that'll end his turn.
Okay, next up is Leopold.
Okay, so Leo, I'll tell you, instead of keeping everyone in suspense, my intention here is to cast Conjure Barrage. So I imagine he's gonna zip over this way, but he's gonna probably have to angle himself going back down towards the ground area. He's looking for the optimal spot to hit this line of people with this. So I'm not sure. It's hard to figure that out in a 2D map when you're trying to do a 3D kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and post Conjure Barrage for me so I can read the text, and I can probably help you with that.
Yeah, it's coming. Oop. I'll just roll it. How about that? So it's a 60-foot cone.
Okay, 60-foot cone. So I would say if you're wanting to stay in the air, you're not going to be able to hit the guy right next to you, but you could hit the 2 riders and mounts down below. If you want to get all of them, you're going to have to descend to the ground.
I'm fine with that. I can always go back up later, so I will descend to the ground then and try and hit all of them.
Okay, fair enough. So you cast this spell and you see this barrage fires out. So what does this look like for Leopold?
Yeah, Leo grabs a mundane crossbow bolt, and instead of what he normally does, using the crossbow and it generating its own energy ammunition, he actually jams this one in to a special chamber below. And when he gets to the position, he'll cock the bottom part of the crossbow, and this arrow shoots out through like a splitter. There's a channel underneath it, and the arrow splits and fires off in all these shards all around all of these dragonborn, scorpion riding crazy people.
Nice, very cool description. Go ahead and take inspiration. So as this barrage flies over towards all these creatures, here comes some saves. I'm going to throw the 3 riders, then the 3 scorpions. All right, and your DC on this is 16, so...
17.
Oh, 17. Okay, in the chat there it says 16 for some reason.
Some of those spell cards don't update for some reason. I don't understand why. But
Weird. Yep, I see
17.
up in the damage when it does say 17, though. Yeah, that is strange. Okay, so let's see. First guy will succeed, and then we'll have a fail, fail, and then succeed, succeed. So I believe this is half the damage. Yep, half on success. Okay, so the second, third, and fourth will suffer full, and then first, fifth, and sixth will suffer half.
Sounds right. So after all of that happens, then Leo will whistle to Silver, and she's going to come bounding up here, right next to me. How awkward is it for her to attack the mage guy on top of the scorpion?
Yeah, she's got the 5-foot reach, so she certainly can.
Okay, that's who she's going to target, and she's going to try and bite him. 13?
She will attempt to bite him, but unfortunately just grabs a mouthful of armor. Studded leather armor, to be exact.
Well, she'll gnaw on that for a bit, and I think that's my turn.
All right. You will hear a bit of rustle from your west there, Leopold, as we move to Lexi's turn.
All right. Can Lexi move around this one, staying within melee range without drawing an opportunity attack?
Yes. Technically, you could move further north, of course. We're just at the edge of the map. You guys were really, really cautious and hugged the edge of the map. So, yes, feel free to do so.
All right, Lexi will move right there. She will enter her rage.
All right. Where would you like to place your exploding flump? All right, so that will explode, and here comes some saves. All right, and let's see. Your DC on this is probably like 17 as well, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, so the first and last will... actually, I got to check one other thing. Yeah, actually, the first, second, and third will all succeed. The fourth will fail, suffering some damage. So go ahead and roll that D6, Lexi. All right, so as that flump explodes, it does manage to get a little bit of damage to the mage-like rider.
All right, and then she's gonna try and take a hack out of this one that attacked her earlier.
To the rider, okay, yes. All right, you slash out towards the rider and do indeed connect, penetrating through this chain shirt that he's wearing. Second follow-up of strike also connects, wounding him severely.
Come at me, bro.
All right, this guy is also just going to rustle a bit as we move to Brando, who is surprised, unfortunately. So we will...
Hey, Hey, Adam, can I see through my eye though? Can you give me vision?
I can't, unfortunately, because I can't limit it exactly to 30 feet. So I can tell you
Okay.
what he can see, though, is scorpions to the west, and he can see the laborer still there by the boxes. One laborer is in a rowboat and has started making his way off to the east.
Okay.
See Frederick, unfortunately, also surprised, so we'll skip him. Okay, Leopold, so as you're close enough to this scorpion here, you're going to notice this scorpion's tail flashes up over where the rider is sitting over its head and strikes down towards you.
Disadvantage from silver.
Disadvantage from silver. Okay, this will miss. It then will try to hit you with a couple of claws. First claw will connect. And that is going to do 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and it will grapple you. Second claw. This one will...
Shield.
Okay, you shield. It will not hit, but go ahead and burn that shield. Okay, next up is this guy. All right, he sees Lexi over there. So he is going to cast a scorching ray on Lexi. So Lexi, you're going to notice 3 rays of fire flash towards you. All 3 of these rays will smack into you, Lexi, dealing a total of 17 points of fire damage.
Can she use her reaction to do that?
You sure can, yeah. So go ahead and use that new token action we built for you.
Yay, this is so exciting!
All right, you get another flump. Where would you like to put him?
That's okay. I like the flumps. Put him right there again.
All right, same one. All right, let me answer Leo's question here. Claw damage. Did that first claw hit? I think you... Why was I thinking it didn't hit you?
The first, the stinger missed. The first claw hit.
Oh,
The
yes,
second
thank you.
one
You're right.
missed.
The grapple, right. So it was 9 points of bludgeoning damage there, Leo. Okay, so Flump Explosion. Here comes more saves. Okay, this time 3 will fail. So go ahead and roll that d6, and I'll take it on the last 3.
Woohoo!
All right, so yes, that Flump explodes, wounding all of those. He has cast a spell, so he's done. We move to this guy's turn. He is also going to move up. He will move up to here as the scorpion that he is riding just traverses this terrain pretty well. He is then going to point out towards you, Leopold, shooting off some scorching rays.
Stop it.
The first will hit, the second will miss, no fumble on second attack, a third attack will hit. That'll be 14 points of fire damage from that. All right, and then it's his scorpion's turn, who just kind of shifts underneath. Move to this scorpion. It can actually reach Lexi from there, but only with its... oh, no, actually I lied. The stinger is only a 5-foot reach as well, so it cannot do anything. We move to Brandvon.
Okay, I am going to get out my ruler.
Handy use for any cleric.
Yep, and then I'm going to click a bunch of buttons. One of these so I can cast Bless as a bonus action. Okay, and I will target Lexi, Dell, and myself with that.
All right, the 3 of you go ahead and add that bless to yourself and check that on your sheet to make sure those are added.
Now, Lexi used her reaction already. I saw her do something, right?
Well, you heard the explosion of another flump. I think you fought with her long enough to know that, yeah, that's what it means.
Okay. Dell, I can't see anyone that he could attack, so I don't think I can use that other ability I have. That's okay. The guy next to me, I'm going to move to body block Brandel so he doesn't get run over, and give Lexi a flank, and I'll cast Sacred Flame on the one between Lexi and me.
Rider or
on
mount?
On the mount, the Scorpion.
On the Scorpion. Okay, dex save from the Scorpion. Oof, nat 20s, which counts as a fumble for you, Ranvan. Go ahead and roll a spell fumble, please.
Okay, my fumble macros have disappeared. Let me find them.
Yeah, you might just have to click the in bar option on them. Yeah, not adding to your bar doesn't make them go away, unfortunately.
Spell?
Yeah, spell. All right, yes, unfortunately, it just doesn't work the way you would hope for and does nothing.
Okay, that's me.
All right, we move to this Scorpion who's got some targets now, and I think it is going to attack Ranvan, as Ranvan just attacked the rider of this one. So you're going to notice, Ranvan, as the Scorpion first tries to hit you with its stinger, which will critically hit.
Goodbye.
This one is poison. Let's see how bad this one is. This is a true crit. All right, so let's start with the first set of damage. All right, so that will be 17 points of piercing damage. Then I'll need a Constitution saving throw. All right, so you'll succeed on this. So you'll suffer half of this damage. So that will be 23 points of poison damage. All right, that is a crit from a stinger, and then it's going to follow up with, and that technically wouldn't be a second save, so don't even worry about that. That should all add, yeah, actually, that should all add together, right? So, let's check that. Hang on.
Oh, that's one damage source?
Yeah, so it's additional poison damage. Yeah, I would say it's one source. I wouldn't make you make two checks on that. So, let's see. The first one was 17 plus 23 would be 40, so the DC would have been 20. So the first one you
even if you count the second one with my Warcaster, I would have failed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess if you want to do it that way, so then yes, I would say your bless would drop. Okay. So then he is going to follow up with 2 claw attacks against you, or pincer attacks, I should say. Both of those are going to miss, however. Okay, we move up to the top of the next round. This guy here still facing off against Leo. He notices Leo is currently grasped in the Scorpion's pincers here. Yeah, he is actually just going to once again, or actually maybe not once again. Let me see how often he can do this. Oh yeah, he is. Once again, he's going to point at Leo and cast Heat Metal. So Leo, you'll notice your breastplate once again begins to inflame. And you will suffer 9 points of fire damage as you are now burning. Okay, we move to this warrior dragonborn who is going to bring his... Oh, actually noticing a little lineup here of Ranvan and Brandel there. You're going to notice he stretches forth, opening his maw and ushering forth a flame breath. I will need both Ranvan and Brandel to give me dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
Okay, Ranvan, you will succeed. Brandel, you will fail. So Ranvan, you'll take half this damage. So that'll be 3 points of fire damage. And Brandel, you're using your reaction to cast Absorb Elements. So you'll suffer half of this damage. So that will be 6 points of fire damage to Brandel. All right, next up is this guy. So this is going to move. So, Leo, as you're clasped here by one, you're going to see another Scorpion with Rider comes around this side. And you're going to see this one here as he's sort of leaning here in the saddle. He is actually going to cast Heat Metal on Silver.
She can't take her armor off.
No, but she's certainly going to get very hot and suffer 3 points of fire damage. Next up, we have this guy who is also aiming, and actually he'll move first. Moving up to here as that Scorpion tramples up through the sand. Getting up to here, and he's going to fire off some Scorching Rays at Leopold. Leopold's AC is 16.
21.
21 for shield. Okay, nice. So all of those will shatter into your arcane barrier and not able to penetrate. As we move to Dell's turn.
All right. Dell's going to take a 5-foot step back. And then in a 30-foot radius, he's going to use his action to channel Divinity Conquering Presence. I believe that's a DC 17.
Nice. Okay, so each creature you can see, I'm guessing you could probably see all of them, right? I think so, yeah. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 saves coming. Here we go.
Well, it's 30 feet, so I think this one...
Oh, that one's out of your... Yeah, good call. So let's take that down to 10. Oh, that one's out of your reach also. So we'll take that down.
Which one?
The one to your far east and the one to your far southwest. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8 total. Good call on that. Here comes some saves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, my measure by eyeball is terrible. Yeah, that south one you're going to miss too. I just noticed that when you pointed that out for me.
What do you mean?
So the one straight south of you, he's not within 30.
He's 30. Is he not?
Oh, actually, maybe no, he's technically not, because what you're looking at probably is the rider, and he's just positioned. He's actually in the center. So if you can't put your cursor, I show third. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. You are right. Okay, it's just a little bit off center. That's why it looks strange. So yeah, we'll count him. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8 total. So here comes some saves. And I'm going to do riders first and then mounts. And you said DC was 17, right?
Let me double check, but I believe so, yes. Yeah, 17.
Oh,
Wisdom.
okay. Wisdom save. So we're going to have 2 successes and the rest will fail. So just to make this easier on marking, I'm only going to mark those that succeeded. And we'll assume the rest are frightened.
You're marking the succeeded?
I'm marking the 2 with yellow dots that succeeded. All the rest of them are frightened.
Okay. So they can't move towards me and they have disadvantage on attacks.
Yep, while in line of sight. And then I believe they get a save at the end of their turn, right?
Yep.
Saving through. Okay, perfect. Yeah, very effective move there, Del. Anything else on your turn here, Del?
Yeah, so I'm going to move 5 feet more back, so there's 10 feet, and then spiritual weapon on this rider.
On the rider, okay.
Attacking Leo.
Unfortunately, that will not connect. Yeah, you know what it is when you move these guys as a pair, they want to go off-center a little bit, so that's the issue. All right, we move to Leopold's turn, who's currently grappled by the scorpion to his south.
Leo's just like, what's Leo gonna do? I had a thought and then I lost it. Let's do... Boy, I don't want to do that. Do I? If you shrunk down suddenly while being grappled, would that free you from that grapple?
I would say not automatically, but I would give you a acrobatics or athletics check at advantage without using an action. So basically you drink it, you get to make the check right then. If it happens to succeed, beating their grapple DC, then yep, you slip free.
I will... You know what? I'm going to do this.
Okay, you cast this spell.
Before I roll my dice to see if I disappear or not, I'm going to command Silver to attack the rider, the one that's been heating my metal.
Yep, and just remember, when you roll the die, that's the end of your turn. So yeah, make sure you do everything you want to before that ends.
Yeah, let's just have her bite right now.
All right, and you said she's biting at the one that's concentrating on the spell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll certainly connect. She will wound him. Actually, he didn't have that flag, so let me just go ahead and roll that save. So this is just going to be a straight DC of 10. He is going to manage to maintain concentration.
Okay. I'm rolling the die.
All right, so end of your turn. Go ahead and roll your D20.
Oh, come on.
Just missed it.
I think that's it.
Okay, we move to this one's turn, who now is able to attack Leo on the flank. So Leo, here comes a stinger, which is going to connect.
With the disadvantage?
Ooh, good call. Thanks for the reminder. But yes, unfortunately, still will connect even with disadvantage. I forgot to factor that,
Shield.
but it still hits. Okay, go ahead and burn your reaction for shield. That will set your AC to 21. So at disadvantage, even with flank, that will miss. Here comes a claw, which will miss. And another claw, which will also miss. Unable to penetrate that shield. As we move to Lexi's turn.
Hey, Adam, real quick. Can you mark these two over here? Because they're not feared.
Yes.
Just in case they move and they get jumbled up.
Yes, and at the end of that Scorpion's turn, here comes another check on its fear. Okay, still feared. All right, Lexi's turn.
All right, I would like to release another flump right there.
I'm sorry, point one more time where that was? Right there. Okay, so here comes some saves. Okay, let me check real quick. And you said your DC was 17, right?
Yes.
All right, first guy will succeed. The others will not. So go ahead and roll that damage.
Oops, sorry, wrong button.
All right, yeah. So as the flump explodes, they will be wounded.
And then she's gonna keep hacking at this same guy she's been hacking at.
The warrior rider. Okay, yeah, make your attack.
Eat my fate, Crescent.
He will indeed, as this slash comes down, hits him in the chest, and he takes a near mortal wound as he is just barely in the saddle.
Let's see if we can make it mortal.
You can indeed, as this cuts partially through his body, and he just collapses, bleeding, as he is still partially in the mount and hanging on the side in a death grip.
All right, and she'll stand her ground.
Okay, next up is the mount, so the mount will stay there as we move to Brandle's turn.
Oh, what's going on? I get distracted. All right, I'm reading this Ice Storm spell, Adam. It says some spells say a point you can see within range. This one just says a point within range. So, I mean, what I'm thinking about is putting an Ice Storm around here that will be 20-foot radius to catch these two guys and not Lexi, kind of thing.
Go ahead and post, or you said ice, you're talking about the scroll?
Yeah, the scroll, yep.
All right, let me just double check that one real quick. Yeah, I would agree. So you have to basically know the area, but you get close enough that you could say, like, hey, I'm going to put an X amount of space over there so it hits there. So yeah, I would say that works.
And plus my Arcane Eye is active. Maybe you can use that.
Not close enough for that, but luckily you don't need it.
Okay, all right. Then I'm going to do that. I'm going to set... So Brandel gets out his scroll, and I just identified this, and he starts reading it, and the storm starts developing in a point here, and I'm going to put it so,
So this has the same radius as a fireball, so we would just drag the fireball template, throw it down, and move it as you'd like.
Roger. Oh, you have to cast fireball.
I know, you were so proud when you took that one.
I can't move it. I put it in a spot. I can't grab it.
I'm guessing you're trying to do something like this.
Yeah, something that'll maybe you can get a little closer to. Yeah, I think it's gonna get this other creature.
All right, so you read the scroll of Ice Storm, and that will destroy the scroll, and that will cause this ice storm to come pummeling down in this area. So the creatures have to make a dex save. So I'm going to do rider first, and then the mount under the rider, and then the mount without a rider. Okay, so this guy will suffer full damage. The mount will save, and then the other mount will not. So go ahead and post the damage here, Brandon. I'll probably have to manually roll this. It's going to be 4d6 plus 2d8. All right, so as this ice begins to pummel down, smacking into them, this rider is severely wounded. The mount underneath suffers some damage. And the riderless mount also suffers significant damage. And then we'll keep that template there because this area is all considered difficult terrain until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, and you see this ice just jump on the beach. Watch your step. I'm gonna move 5 to there.
As you step away, Brandel, nothing happens because its reach is only 5 feet.
I've been paying attention. Okay. 5 feet to their action. Bonus action is going to be... I'm going to try to push the mount 5 feet that way.
All right, you try to push the mount backwards, and you succeed as you telekinetically thrust him back. And, of course, the rider goes with him. Okay, Frederick's turn.
Kind of seeing Brandel snap into action beside me after being surprised myself. My fly spell does go off, right, Adam?
Your choice. You haven't actually cast that yet. It occurred as you were starting. So I would say if you wish to make that your action here, you can, or you could sort of drop that and change your mind.
Yeah, so I'm a just move that concentration thing off for now. I still plan on flying here in a little bit, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give myself that spell slot back.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm gonna do is use it. All right, let me grab a spell template.
That's a popular one.
Yeah, so after seeing him call down the ice, I'm just gonna really quickly turn and point my finger, and then this bead of light flashes really quickly. Seeing the ones over here kind of cornering Leo, I'm gonna shout, "They've got Leo, let's go!" And the fireball is gonna blast off.
As the fireball blasts out to these red scaled dragonborn, you notice they are resistant to fire. But here comes some saves. Riders first, then mounts.
The scorpions don't look tinted in red, do they?
They do not. All right, DC 17, and this is Dex. So the first rider will fail, the second and third will succeed. And then here comes the mounts. The second and third mount will also succeed. Jeez. Okay, so applying damage now. I'm going to remove this template because there's no lingering effects from this one. You can feel free to move on unless it's really important to see what happens to these guys before you make your decision.
No, I am going to then... I just want to make sure this is a bonus action. It is. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to, as soon as I point my finger, it's going to, I recoil my hand and I snap, and Leo's going to get, flashed with this light. I don't think I have... Yeah, it's not on the side over there, so I'm just going to roll it for Leo. I'm going to do 2 dice at him.
You healing lighting me?
I am, yes.
Actually, we built that in for you. It's the last thing in your attacks there.
Ah, ha, ha.
So it should prompt you and everything.
Just looked right over it. All right, so Leo gets 7 back. I'll say, okay, buddy, that's all I got for now.
Thanks. Don't worry, I'm good. Appreciate the help, though.
I'm gonna move kind of into this position here.
Okay. All right, we move next to this scorpion who is still frightened. It is going to attack Leopold on the flank, but Leopold still has his shield up, so it's at disadvantage with flank against the shielded AC. Here comes the stinger. So disadvantage, so yes, that will miss. And then here comes the claw. See, the shielded AC 21, that'll miss. Oof, wow, look at that. Luckily, there's that fear in effect there, huh? Okay, so he will miss all of those. End of his turn. Here comes a new save against that fear. He will remain frightened.
Dell is MVP now with the fear effect.
Yeah, I know. It just helps out so much.
That's a big debuff for sure. All right, we move to this rider here. He is going to point at Lexi, casting off some fiery rays, scorching ray. First will miss, second will miss, third will miss. Lexi is a dodging machine there, and then he's going to move. This will be at disadvantage, or difficult terrain, I should say. But he will push on through the icy hailstorm at his feet. All right, we move to this one, who is also going to throw some scorching rays Leo's way.
Is that one getting closer to me? Or is it saying the same
It's
distance?
it just moved vertical, so just up. So I would say no, it's not closer to you.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I mean those are always like judgment calls. Okay, this guy is going to blast off some scorching rays. Also, he's frightened, so these will be at disadvantage. All right, so those 3 will all miss as they flash out and do not strike. Here comes another save for him. See, it was 17, right? Dell, for your fear?
Yeah, 17.
He is still frightened. Okay, we move to... yeah, okay, I missed that one, so I won't take that against you guys. All right, move to this one. Now it's the Mount's turn, and the Mount is now close enough to Lexi to attack. So here comes the Stinger. Lexi's AC is 19, so that will miss. Here comes a couple claw attacks. Those will miss. And here's another save to shake the frightened. Does not. As we move to Ranbon's turn.
Okay, the creature right to the right, this giant scorpion. I can't see its health bar. How's it looking?
It's somewhat damaged.
Okay, so it's still pretty healthy.
Yeah, pretty healthy, yeah.
Alrighty, I'm gonna cast Sanctuary on Lexi.
Sanctuary on Lexi. Okay, bonus action. And Lexi, you are surrounded by this protective barrier.
I'm just
Thanks,
going to...
Ranbon.
I'm just going to post that publicly so she can read that.
Yep.
And give myself the slot back.
Yep, that works.
And then I will cast Sacred Flame on the scorpion between me and her.
All right, you conjure a Sacred Flame down on the creature. It fails the save. Go ahead and set yourself back to GM roll, and I will apply that damage.
That's my turn.
All right, we'll move to this one you just struck. So in response, Ranbon, it is going to attempt to attack you. This one is frightened still, so here's disadvantage attacks. Here comes the Stinger. That'll miss. A couple of claws. That will not fumble, but that will miss. And that will miss as well. Another save on fear. Does not succeed. Is still frightened. We move to the top of the next round. All right, this guy is still frightened. He is no longer concentrating on his spell. So he is going to... you're going to notice here, Leo, as he sees you grappled, you're in the flank, he is actually going to draw a scimitar from his scabbard at his side and slash out at you twice. He is frightened, so those will both miss. Here comes a new save on the frightened. He does not succeed, still frightened. Move to this guy's turn. He is going to do the same, slash at you with a couple scimitar strikes. Oh, actually, that last guy wasn't frightened, but none of those saves, or none of those rolls were high enough anyhow. This one is frightened, so that's disadvantage. That'll miss. That'll also miss. New save on frightened. That is still frightened. Nobody has shaken the fear. Yeah, this is pretty potent fear, guys. All right, we move to this one. He is not frightened. He is going to target Leo with his favorite, Scorching Rays.
Can I counterspell that?
Are you within 60 feet?
Just measured.
Looks to me like you are. Yes, if you wish to burn a counterspell, go ahead and burn that off your sheet, and that will prevent the spell casting. And he is not frightened, so he is actually going to, let me just double check. His mount is also not frightened, so yes, he is free to move. So he is going to get a bit closer here.
While that thing has me in its grip and I'm like flailing around in the air and I see Brandel counterspell that last one, Leo just gives the thumbs up to him as he's getting
the crush thumbs up. Good buddy.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move to Dell's turn.
All right. Gonna spiritual weapon this rider right here.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, does not connect.
And then let's see here. Really wish I had a decent AoE spell, but I don't. So
I use my ability borrow spell.
yeah. Next level. I guess I will acid splash this pair right here.
So rider and mount.
Yep.
All right, good deal. Go ahead and post that. And deck save comes the rider first. 17. He is actually going to succeed on that, suffering no damage. Mount will not succeed, so he will suffer some acid damage.
I'm gonna turn and look at Brandel. I'm gonna be like, pull Leo out of that situation if you can. I know he's grappled.
Okay.
All right, anything else on your turn here, Dal?
That'll be all.
All right, next up is Leopold.
Since I'm in melee, I'm gonna kind of shunt my crossbow off to one hand, and I'm gonna reach out with my other hand. And I don't know if anyone's seen the new Batman movie yet, but I'm going to grab the rider with my glove and zap him with the teaser that seems to be hidden in it.
Nice.
Shocking grasp.
All right, you reach out trying to shocking grasp this guy. However, he notices you coming and leans back, and you cannot reach him.
Oh, fine. Silver, get him. And Silver's going to attack.
Silver's attack will connect, wounding him once again.
For 19 to hit?
Yep, I'm sorry if you didn't hear that. That was a connect and wounded him once again.
Okay, and then I'm going to roll my d20. And I zap out of existence.
All right, you are now in the ethereal plane. And the scorpion, if it could look as such, is quite confused.
Leo, like, kind of, his feet touch the ground, and he just kind of nonchalantly brushes the dirt and blood off of him. He looks very calm suddenly.
All right, and that will do it for your turn. So go ahead and pass, and we will move on to the scorpion. Okay, it is currently frightened. It is going to stay there as we move to Lexi's turn.
Can Lexi reach this rider?
She can, yep. So whenever you see those riders, they get to basically use any of the spaces of the larger creature, so you can certainly hit him, yes.
Alright, she's gonna target. Ooh, almost spoke too soon. She'd like to do her flump right here.
Okay, here comes 2 saves. Rider first. Oh, both of them will actually succeed, so no damage from the flump.
An ineffective flump. That's okay.
Ineffective flump, yes.
So target the rider.
All right, slash out towards the rider. This catches him right in the throat, and this is all it takes as he goes down. Yes.
Pierce save for the last scorpion that went.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Continue, Lexi.
And then I'll try to hit the scorpion.
This is the one that you just attacked the rider on, or the other one?
The one that the rider was on.
Okay. So you strike out at that one, and you do indeed connect. As a quick reminder, you did have that sanctuary spell on you, but as you attacked, it will, of course, fall.
Yep. Thanks, Ranbon.
All right, we move to this one's turn. He is not frightened. Right, he is not frightened, so he is attacking Silver without any impediments here. So here comes a stinger. Silver's AC is 15. That will connect. And I always ask this question. I always forget. Is Silver resistant to poison or something?
She is immune to poison.
Immune to poison. Nice. So just piercing damage from the sting. And it'll be 7 points of piercing damage from that. Here comes a couple pincer attacks, which will both connect. So that will be 17 points of bludgeoning damage, and Silver is also grappled now. As we move to Brandle's turn.
All right, Brandle's going to move 5 feet, and Leo disappeared, right?
Yes, Leo is nowhere to be seen.
Okay, so Brando looks around the tree here, and he gets excited. He rubs his hands together. Level 12 wizard, and he's never cast this spell before. And he's going to cast Fireball!
All right, feel free to drag that template on and throw it down where you like.
That should get them all.
All right, you aim it here. Once again, you notice each of these red-skinned dragonborn resistant to fire. However, the scorpions are not. So riders first, then scorpions. So we got 2 successes for the riders. Here comes the mounts. All fails. All right, so applying damage now.
Okay. I'm going to move... Wait, let me do... I don't want to pull Silver out of there.
She is grappled.
She is grappled. Okay, then I hear that somewhere from the ethereal plane, I guess. All right, cool. I checked the measurement. I'm gonna pull Silver towards me.
All right, go ahead and actually let me apply this damage actually it's not going to matter because the fireball will actually melt 2 of these scorpions. And the riders will fall prone and result to their scorpions dying underneath them.
Oh, then maybe not.
So that grapple on Silver will end immediately.
Never mind, you hear from the ethereal plane.
Okay.
All right, damage has fully been applied. Anything else on your turn here, Brandel?
Yeah, I kind of want to move here. That's where I kind of want to move. I don't want to end my turn.
All right, you snuggle up close to that scorpion as we move to Frederick's turn.
All right. Frederick is going to step behind Ranvon, and seeing Ranvon engage with this big scorpion, he's going to kind of put his hand on his back and say, "Oh, okay, buddy. This may be new, but enjoy it." And I'm going to cast a spell on Ranvon, and I'm actually going to twin it, and the twin version is going to go to me, Adam.
Okay, yes, you feel light in your step, Ranvon.
And after I cast it, I'll say, "Okay, Ranvon, just do what I do," and then I'm going to shoot straight up about 50 feet at him.
All right, you fly 50 feet up into the air.
And I want to try to put my eyes on the boat. Can I still see where it's at in the cove?
The rowboat, yes, it has made a bit more progress out. Based on your passive perception, you actually do not spot it.
Okay. I'm going to just fly. Once I get to the height of 50 feet, I'm going to start making my way 10 feet in the direction of the water. So we'll go... I can't move. Yeah, there we go. We'll go that way. Boom.
All right, you get a bit closer and you can sort of vaguely make out a bit of the boat, but even though on your screen you may be able to see the boat, it's kind of obscured in a strange way. Like you can kind of make out something there, but it's very weird. It's almost like it's covered by something.
Perfect. Well, squinting, that's what you see Frederick do.
All right, we move to this guy who is slain, so he won't get a turn. We'll move to this one, and this guy is going to indeed move a bit closer.
He's frightened.
Yes, so he can't get closer to you, right? Good call. So he's here. He is going to move to here. So further away from you, once he gets here, he is going to blast out with some scorching rays at Silver. Okay, I think that first one, AC was 15. Yeah, that first one is going to hit. So that'll be 2 points of fire damage against Silver. New save for this guy on the fear. He maintains his fear. Scorpion's turn. Can't reach anybody from there, so he'll just get a save. He is still frightened. Move to this one's turn. All right, he is not frightened. He is attacking at Lexi. Stinger first.
Take 2 already.
Nope, that already failed off. Remember, she attacked?
Oh, right, okay.
Is that circle for the one underneath?
Nope, this is the Scorpion. He's the big one. The other guy's dead.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But to your point, let me just go ahead and delete that other guy just so we don't get confused. There we go. All right, so yes, unfortunately, this Stinger will indeed connect against you, Lexi. Here comes some damage, and I'll need a Constitution saving throw, please. All right, you succeed, so you're going to suffer only half the poison damage. So first is going to be piercing. You're currently raging, so the 7 piercing will be cut down to 3 piercing. Then here comes poison. You succeeded on your save, so we'll cut that down to 13 damage. So altogether, I believe that was 16 damage to Lexi. Here comes a couple pincer attacks. Those will both miss as we move to Ranvan.
Okay, can I tell which of the scorpions is more hurt between this one and this one? Really, I just want to
Very close. They're very similar.
Alright, I will, as a bonus action, Lexi has taken damage, right? I also can't see her out.
She has, yes.
Yes.
Okay, is it a significant amount?
No.
Alright, I'm going to cast Healing Word on Lexi,
Okay.
and then she can use her reaction to attack this one.
Okay, so Lexi will get 8 health back, and then Lexi, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against the Scorpion to your west.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Ranvan.
You slash out mightily so, and that's exactly how much damage you needed to do to slay this Scorpion, and you see it squeezes all up on itself as it dies.
Oh, that's perfect. I don't have to disengage now. So the other one I will hit with the Sacred Flame.
You conjure down a Sacred Flame, and that does indeed hit, burning it with those radiant energies, and it is wounded.
And then I will fly up 30 feet. And then you don't need to give me vision, but I'd like to, assuming that's over the trees, can I see how Leopold's doing?
No, you don't see Leopold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll set my thing to 30 feet up, but that's
Sounds good. All right, top of the next round. This guy is not feared. He is prone, though, so he's going to spend half of his movement to stand up. And he's going to slash out with his scimitar towards Silver. Both of those attacks will miss, however. This guy is feared, so he is actually going to cast a spell. He's going to cast a Scorching Ray, this time over towards Dell at disadvantage. Dell, your AC is 18, so that second one will connect. That'll be 8 points of fire damage against Dell. New save against his fear. He is still frightened. This one's turn. He is also going to stand from prone. He is not frightened, so he will step around, putting Silver in the flank, take a couple attacks. Those will still both miss as we move to Dell.
All right. So, gonna step up to here. Just the scorpion doesn't have reach, right?
So far, you've not noticed the scorpions to have reach, no.
Okay. So I'm gonna move to here, and I'm gonna hit with this staff on the first time.
All right, you swing out with that new Staff of Striking. Yeah, that clocks him right upside the head.
And I'm gonna expend one charge.
One charge, all right. So you conjure that power through the staff to add a little bit of oomph to the strike. Yes, he is decimated by this blow and just crumples under the force of your strike.
And then I'm gonna use my spiritual weapon to attack this guy. I can't do that, can I? I gotta just.
Have you used a bonus action yet?
I haven't, but I have another attack. Is that too much?
No, I mean, you can move, take your other attack, and then use your bonus action if you still got enough movement to get you close enough to somebody.
Okay. So I can use my bonus action, then use the rest of my movement, 5, 10, 15 to get next to him to hit him. My spiritual weapon misses.
Since you already attacked...
You know what? Never mind. I'll just move to here and hit him with this staff of striking.
Yep, that'll work. That will connect as well.
Does the Dragon Rider get Dell's aura?
No, that's probably just the way the thing is set up. You smack into him so hard in the chest here, you hear bones break as he just crashes right to the ground.
And then, gonna move my spiritual weapon and strike out at the guy that hit me with the scorching ray.
All right, you swing out towards the rider. Yes, this will hit as well. All right, solidly smacking into him. Yes, solid round there, Dell. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that's everything.
All right, move up next to Leopold.
Leo reappears in, I don't even think a flash. He just is there suddenly. Dell blinks and he looks over and Leo's standing there like a hologram suddenly. And he's going to say, "Hey, Dell." And he's going to fire off 2 crossbow bolts.
All right, who is your target?
Let's do one against this guy towards the south.
Rider or mount?
Sharpshooter. Rider.
Rider, okay, sure thing. That bolt will penetrate in through his armor, wounding him as it strikes him in the chest.
Let's do a regular shot because it looks like he's almost there. And I'm gonna hit.
Indeed. You take a little off of it, fire another one accurately, and yes, this will do it as it catches him in the throat.
I'm going to say, Silver, why don't you just step back for a bit? Fix yourself up. And Silver is going to go back here and use their repair ability. So they have 3 of them. Heal for 12 hit points. Pretty good.
All right, nice. I imagine these little like fixing things just pop out, start just sealing her up.
Yeah, it's very R2D2 trying to fix the X-Wing suddenly. So she's off doing that. You see sparks flying out of the bushes. And then Leo says, "All right, let's see what happens." Oh, shit. I stay here. All right. That's my turn.
All right, next up is this one. Still frightened. Can't do anything. New save against frightened. Does not shake it. We move to Lexi.
Alright, she's gonna try and put it out of its misery with flump first.
All right, flump explosion on this guy. It will definitely hit him. Go ahead and post that damage. He is still just in his misery. But that'll do it as you easily chop in through this armored carapace of the scorpion and slay it.
Hate bugs. And then she will use her movement to start heading that way.
Okay, Brandel's up.
All right, I'll move there. There. Oh, the rider's still there. Frightened though. Okay. I'm going to. It sucks when I don't see and I come around the corner. You know.
Got a plan for every contingency, Brandel. You're a wizard with a 20 intelligence. What are you thinking?
Yeah, but Brian's not. Okay. Let's see. All right. So, I don't like the wizards. I don't like that wizard. He's bothering me. So I'm going to take my wand of magic missiles. I'm going to throw 2 charges at it, please.
All right, so 4 darts then will flash out from the wand, striking towards him. Go ahead and post that. All right, those 4 missiles smack into him, wounding him as he rocks in the saddle.
Okay, and Del? You okay, Del?
Yes.
I mean, not. Are you okay, Leo? I meant to say.
I was going to say, Dell looks fine. He's kicking ass over there.
Yeah, Del's fine. I see Leo half injured. He popped out of the ethereal. Where you been? You need to be pulled back.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'll end my turn.
All right, Frederick's turn.
Okay. So Frederick is going to fly over here. I believe that's 50 feet. I can't see over the log because it's not letting me look over it, but I'm in the air. Adam, do I have a better view of the boat now?
I'll get rid of that log dynamic lighting for you. Yeah, so you can now start to see this boat a bit better. You can see it very strange, however. Like I say, think of it almost like if something moved through cloth and cloth kind of like folded over it. You can make out the edges, but you can't make out the boat very well.
Okay. So that's 60. And then I'm going to use my dash to get right up on it.
As you get closer to this area, Frederick, you notice a sudden ripple as you pass through this area, as this illusion is suddenly dispelled, revealing a vessel here boarded by several individuals.
Dun dun dun! There was a boat! He yells.
And you'll be happy to notice 4 cannons.
Okay.
Sweet.
Seeing that, I'm gonna move at an angle because I still have. I think it was. Hang on, let me measure again, Adam. So it was here. That can't be right, right?
I believe you started up in this area. So altogether, that's your max move.
Okay. Okie dokie. Bonus action on myself.
Okay. All right, we move up to the giant scorpion here. It is still frightened. Can't really do much. New save against the frightened. Still frightened. Move.
And it can't move either. So
Can't move, right, because he's even closer to you. So locked in place. Yeah, we move to Ranvan.
Okay, now I'm going to take advantage of the fly speed because I forgot that it wasn't just my speed. So here's 30 feet this way so I can see. Okay, alright, we got some stuff going on here. I'm going to cast... I'm going to cast... What's the spell? I need to go to the page here. healing word on Leopold and say, "You better power shot this one." And
Okay.
then he can take his reaction to shoot this guy.
All right, 7 HP. And remind me, does that say melee weapon attack, or what was the rules on that one?
I will find it.
All right, so that's 7 HP back to Leopold. Just one weapon attack. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so Leopold, you can go ahead and take your shot, and you're asking him to shoot at which one?
At the rider here.
Rider, okay, and you invoke the Blessing of the Helm, which this would have missed, but you feel sudden reinforcement, Leopold, as a divine presence guides your strike. The bolt strikes right into the rider, slaying him.
Leo says, "Torn protects," as he fires.
Torn
Magically guided.
protects. And then I will cast, checking the range here, Sacred Flame on that scorpion.
On the one that you just killed its rider? The further one down.
Yeah,
He will actually succeed, suffering no damage.
Okay, that's me.
All right, guys, we're at the top of the next round. We're at the end of our session time here. It went by very quick. The image that I will leave you with here is Frederick as you're staring down upon this heavily armored vessel and armed as well. You notice a particular figure standing near the front, turns to look at you, and you see emblazed in a breastplate in gold filigree on his chest is the letter C. And that, guys, is where we will go ahead and pause and end our session for tonight and pick up next week. Hope everybody had a good time. Anybody watching, hope you're enjoying following along with us. See you guys all next week. We'll pick up the adventure then.
Great session.
Great
Thanks,
session,
Adam.
everybody.
A lot of fun. Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Great session, everybody.
Everyone.
Later, folks.
It was really fun.